Blackline Brief starts now.
What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome to another episode of the Blackline Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim, and today we have a very special guest, Clint Russell from Liberty Lockdown. What up, Clint?
What's up, Matt? Thank you for having me. People may be familiar with me. If not, I am, one of the 100 or so people that has been diving deep on the Charlie Kirk investigation. Former mortgage broker turned political commentator, ran for VP under the Libertarian Party. Whatever. Who cares about my background? People will decide whether or not they like me after this interview. So
I doubt it'll be this interview that makes anyone's mind up. But yeah, dude, thank you so much for coming on. Believe it or not, you're one of the guys that I've watched even before I, started my own channel. And I definitely appreciate your take on pretty much everything, I watched you when you were on with Harrison, or wait, I'd have to look back because what's the Straka's first name? What's his first name?
Yeah, Brandon Straka. It wasn't Harrison Hill Smith. That one was Owen Schroyer.
Okay, yeah, because there was two, right? And I watched both of them regarding similar things, right? Like the MAGA divide.
Yeah.
And you were, actually, there was a girl, was there you with two girls that were on your side, on that side of the couch?
Yeah, it was me, Owen Schroyer, Josie, the redheaded libertarian, and Emily Saves America, I believe is her handle.
That's right. That's right. The Owen Schroyer one with Harrison, and who was the third person that was with them?
I think they had Alex Stein.
Yeah. That those were both really good. I did breakdowns on them. The one that you were part of got heated because it was a younger crowd across the way from you. The one girl that started yelling at one of the girls to the right of you, I think the redheaded girl. It got pretty heated.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna have to intervene. I was like, please don't get violent. Please, I'm begging you. They didn't, thankfully.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on was because right now there's there's not a lot of us actually that have channels. I mean, there's a good amount, but there's equally more and more that pop out that are on the other side, kind of pushing this whole, the Fed slop narrative, but also they're still promoting Israel, saying that Trump is not betraying his base, that we're betraying Trump and MAGA. Right. And I think that you're in a really unique position to actually speak to this, having been on some of these shows speaking on it. And you've been in this investigation with the Charlie Kirk assassination somewhat from the beginning, correct?
Yeah, I think my first episode about it was within a week. I mean, it was the biggest story in the world at the time, obviously, but I didn't expect myself to get fully sucked into the vortex of this investigation. I just found it so compelling. There's so many interesting layers to it. But sorry, I don't want to, get a sidetracked, but to your point, I do agree that almost all of the Fed sloppers, the overlap between them and pushing the war in Iran, pro-Israel positions is it's a circle. There is no Venn diagram there. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. And what made you get involved in the Charlie Kirk story? I mean, I don't know if you followed him beforehand or if you came to him after, but what drew you into it?
Well, I met him at least once, maybe twice, because of I have a decent sized following, so I get invited to random events, and I went to, I think it was North Miami. They had an event. I could be mistaken on the location, but anyways, it was a TPUSA event and Charlie was there, and I didn't say much to him. I didn't have much to say to him, but and he was very busy. He's a very, very popular guy at a TPUSA event, obviously, but he's just, he seemed like a nice enough dude. I had pretty significant disagreements with him when it came to foreign policy in particular, but it seemed as if, Charlie was always inching ever closer to my perspective, the non-interventionist, anti-war libertarian perspective, or at least he was giving it lip service, which I was always appreciative of because that's very rare at the highest levels of Con Inc., which is what I considered him to be. So I was appreciative of the shifting, positions that he seemed to hold, but I still didn't really trust him just because I recognized that, it seemed as if that was kind of a requisite item within the role that he was serving. So I don't know. I had mixed emotions about him. But I wouldn't say that we were far from friends. We didn't know each other personally by any stretch of the imagination. But I still kind of viewed him as a colleague in a weird way. He's like, we're both political commentators. We're both on the right wing. And that's, influencers, whatever you want to call us. It's like, yeah, we definitely, we swam in the same waters oftentimes, and we had overlap in knowing people. So when I saw him, get shot or whatever transpired on that day, I was floored. I was really disturbed by it, like deeply, deeply disturbed.
Yeah.
And so I immediately started to, basically look for every answer I could. Obviously I didn't have any, strong suspicions about him being taken out by foreign intel or domestic intel, at least initially, because I looked at him as largely being a pro-Israel guy.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty far-fetched. But then a couple weeks later, Candace finally drops the anvil, and she releases these messages that demonstrate that, oh wow, no, actually in private he was pretty close to me, it seemed like, or at least Dave Smith level. And then I guess the rest is history after that. I invited on Harrison Hill Smith shortly thereafter, and I said, I wanted to get to the bottom of that tweet that he put out the month before Charlie died, where he said, I can't give you up my source, but I'm telling you that Charlie Kirk believes that, his life is in jeopardy if he were to go against Israel. And I was like, well, that's an unbelievable timing to happen, just a month or so before he died. And then you see the messages where he's saying, I have no choice but to bend the pro-Israel cause less than 48 hours before he catches a bullet or catches whatever. And all of these things start to add up, and you just go like, I think that there's a distinct possibility that foreign intel was involved here, or domestic intel, and probably both, because if it's foreign intel, almost certainly you got domestic intel that is at least standing down. So that's kind of my evolution on it. And then I just stuck with it after that. And I had Baron Coleman on, when he was still relatively small, and Ian Carroll, and, became a buddy of mine, and Baron did. And I've been friends with Dave Smith for years. So I don't know. I just naturally fell into it. Long story short.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my audio right. Like, sorry, you guys, my camera's up here. I'm doing this from a hotel room. My screen's down here. So if I'm looking down, it's so I can look at you, Clint, so that I don't just stare into the
I'm in the
camera.
My camera is elevated too. So
all right. Yeah, I mean, well, congratulations on your silver placard. I know YouTube tried to rob that of you, kind of like through COVID, right?
Oh yeah, I got triple struck back in 22 or 23, but all through 21 when I started my show. The name of the show is Liberty Lockdown. I was covering COVID nonstop, and it was like strike. And every time I would wait a couple of weeks, and I would pop back up, and I would start to code my language and try and stay alive. And then 22, they finally hammered me. They like triple struck me. I had no strikes, I think, at the time, and they just went through my catalog and they just hit me with all of them. I appealed one of them, so the two of them stuck. One of them I won on appeal by the grace of God. And then I just sat there for 6 months, and I waited for the other strikes to fall off, and I deleted my entire catalog because I was like, they obviously want to get me gone, so I'm going to make it as hard as possible. So I deleted all 100 or whatever episodes I had at the time.
Dang.
And I just sat tight, and then by 23 I kind of hit the ground running again, and I didn't really take off until, I don't know, 24, 25, it started to get some good traction. And then this year it's been big time.
Well, and I bet like Charlie, he was really big during the whole COVID thing. He was heavy against it too. And I'm sure he
was good.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably saw you doing what you were doing at that time. So man, I'm trying to make it to where you guys don't pick up like every little sound that I do when I breathe, but I might just have to turn it down and hold it. Sorry, you guys. I'm just trying to get it situated.
Your audio sounds good to me for what it's worth.
It does? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So with, did you initially, like when you saw the initial videos, what did you think with Charlie Kirk?
I mean, I guess I didn't know any better, so I just took it at face value. It looked like something hit him in the left side of his bare neck.
Yeah.
I assumed it was a rifle round based off of the sound, and that was pretty much the extent of my thought. I remember about an hour after the attack was when the first when I, or at least when I saw, but I think it was actually when the first truly graphic video hit the internet, and it
Right.
was like, because the first one was at an angle where you really couldn't tell how bad it was.
Yep.
And I was just praying. I'm not a super religious guy, but I was praying. I was like, please, please let this guy get through this. And then an hour into it, I saw the second angle, and I was like, he's absolutely gone. Like,
Yeah.
there's no doubt about it. So that was my initial thought, was just, he got shot, and I didn't really even pontificate about if some lefty trans lover lunatic or intel agency. I just didn't know. I had
Yeah.
no reason to jump to any conclusion at that point. So I was just kind of in wait and see mode at that time.
Yeah, and a lot of the early, like you said, the early videos weren't great quality, and some of the angles too, like, couldn't really give us much to be able to determine, like, if it was a gunshot or anything else. And I would agree that initially, I think I was just kind of glued to what the news reports were. I mean, knowing
Right.
Charlie, how close he was with the administration, I mean, Cash Patel and Dan Bongino too, like the people that came out
Personal friends.
to help investigate it. Like, I really didn't think that it was going to turn into what it did. And for me, it's like, things, the more that came out though, like even with Erika Kirk, like, I didn't immediately question her as like being sus. Like, I knew of her because I followed like Charlie, and they would speak together at like the young women's leadership summits, but like I didn't like know her like I did Charlie. And so I was giving her the benefit of the doubt from what I saw with Andrew Colvin and the rest
too.
of them. Same thing. Like, I wasn't suspicious of them, but like literally every single piece that started to come out, whether that's from Governor Cox and those in Utah, Cash Patel, like every single thing just continued to make like the hair on my neck stand up, and like the red flag, the alarm bells were going off.
Yep.
So then Erika gets on the scene and starts doing her addressing the nation, and is taking over in there. Actually, let me go back. My first red flag was the casket scene. Did that kind of immediately strike you as really off?
I actually don't know that I saw it the day of, but I remember the first time I saw it, and I was like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I had an interesting perspective on this, just for a personal reason, is that my dad had died a month prior to Charlie Kirk. Or actually, excuse me. No. A month after. So I was going through, very, very tumultuous time in my life, but I was actually put in the position that Erika Kirk was put in, because I was with my dad for those last couple of weeks of his life. And I was in the hospital with him when he was, very close to passing. I actually spent the night with him, the entire night and into the day that he ended up dying. And I remember thinking to myself, because I had stayed up all night, I couldn't sleep for a day, and I was just Looney Tunes, right? And I started to write out this social media post because I just really wanted to express how much my dad meant to me, and I thought about it, and I was like, should I post a picture of him? And I decided against it because I felt exploitative,
Yeah.
and I very much wanted to express how much I loved him, but I didn't want to make it like, oh, this is, I'm exploiting my dad's death.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
creepy as hell. So what I ended up doing was, basically taking a photo, because he was in this beautiful hospital in Miami, and I was really inspired by the sunset, because the sun was setting behind his bed as he was slowly dying, and the sun was setting. It was just so poetic. So anyways, I cropped the photo and I just showed the sunset, and all you could see was like the IV bag. And so anyways, what I'm long story, sorry for the rant,
No, you're
but
good.
I was basically just using that to explain how then when I saw Erika's photo of her crying in his casket, and I was just like, damn, because I had just gone through something just like that. And I was like, I just wouldn't do that, man. I just wouldn't do it. But that still wasn't enough for me to like jump to any wild conclusions. I just thought it was very untoward, I guess. But I'm also very cautious about because people grieve so differently. I've had friends When I had a friend die when I was 19 in a motorcycle accident, and at the funeral, I was a fucking head case. I was so wrecked. And then one of my buddies was like laughing, and I was so mad at him, dude. And then I realized later on that like, oh, that's his way of grieving, So anyways, I bring up that story to explain. I try not to jump to conclusions, even when it comes to things that I find instantaneously, reflexively grotesque, like doing that video of him in the casket. But it's weird. We can all be honest about that.
Yeah, and Julian Torrey was saying the same thing. He brought it back up again with Baron Coleman, who I can't wait for the Joseph Scott Morgan video to get released.
Yeah, dude. That's tomorrow.
To everyone. And I'm going to have to remember to ask you a question about that. But Julian Torrey even said with Baron, and he had said it before as well, but then he references that like he was hesitant, but then he gets Danny Jones on the phone and he's like, is it just me? And he asks Danny, and then there's like this long pause, and Danny's like, no, that was weird as hell, dude. And he's like, thank you. It's not just me.
Actually, Julian told me that story in studio when I was on his show. So I remember it vividly. And yeah, I think everyone, if they're being honest, it struck them as odd, but then, some people, they took it as like criminal level, like, oh, now I suspect her being involved. I'm just being honest. I did not jump to that level. I just didn't know.
Yeah, I think at that point I didn't. Like looking back though now, like I think now that so much has happened, now that when we look back at that with the timing at which it came out, and then the possibility that it was either Stacey Sheridan or Elizabeth McCoy or Marina Menez. I know initially it was stated as Stacey Sheridan was the one holding the camera, but then I think Barron or someone else recently was like, no, I'm pretty sure it's Elizabeth McCoy was holding the camera. But at the time, it was definitely off. It threw me off. And I was like, I wouldn't do that. I would not be okay with my wife to do that. And, Zach Costello said the same thing. His wife was like, no, I would never do that. Yeah. And, I give the world permission that if my wife were to do that, you should question her. But then, she does the, where she addresses the nation and she's in his studio and she's holding maybe his necklace. I don't think it was the one he was wearing that day, but a replica one that's she's saying it's that necklace. It just has all three pendants. And I don't think from the videos that we saw that day, his had three pendants on it.
Not that I've seen.
Yeah, like the George McClintock Wilson or some of the best photos from that day. And you can see his nipples under his shirt, and all you see under there is like a flat cross, right? Yep. So I'm pretty sure that that's not the one, but she's holding it and it's making all this noise on the podium as she comes in. She waits to pray when the camera's on, which I thought was so much of what she's decided to do is not, in my opinion, not genuine. It's for the audience to see. Like she wanted the audience to see, because they could have prayed as a group together before coming on. And she like comes on, she comes up to the podium and she like whispers underneath her breath for like God to give her strength, which by itself is a good thing. But like, man, just all the things that she ends up doing seem to do for the audience. Like it's for like PR in a sense. And then she does the whole thing where she's like rubbing the chair and she's like, this chair.
Yeah. Well, I can truncate this. What you're describing is performative. She is an extraordinarily performative human being, and everything she's done has come across inauthentic as a consequence of that. She comes across like a B- actress. Yeah. Like there's B actresses or B actors. Yeah. Eric Roberts or whatever. She's like B- C+ actress. It just jumps off the screen that there's inauthenticity happening here. But again, I'll just be honest. I was the last to the party on thinking that maybe she or TPUSA or his inner circle were involved at all, because I just really remember that lesson from when I was a kid, that people grieve differently. They really do. And you just don't want to jump to conclusions, especially someone who's not been, in the public eye tremendously, who's now foisted into such a high profile position, and how that might impact them. But if I'm being honest, it comes across like she's not grieving. It comes across like she doesn't really care about Charlie Kirk. And that disturbs me. It disturbs me that more than her, I know people really harp on Erika a lot. she's so fucking weird to me that I've kind of like written her off as a figure. Like I just don't even think about her. The people who bother me most actually at this point are the Jack Posobics, the Benny Johnsons, the Andrew Colvitts, the people that sit at his desk every day and do his show. And then they overtly lie time and time again, provably so. And that bothers me as much as anything. Maybe it's just, maybe it's my internal sexism coming out that I'm just like, I just don't imagine a woman being behind an assassination. The men are more concerning to me. But for whatever reason, they bother me the most. The fact that like Benny Johnson and Posobiec came out and they said they had that 4K HD trigger pulling, prone position. You can see the kickback. Lying sons of bitches.
Yep.
I just think it's unforgivable. So that's where I'm at with it. I don't trust anybody on that side of things. I didn't start that way. Y'all did that to me. Don't get mad at me for not trusting you. You lied to me over and over and over again, provably so. So that's how I feel now. Sorry. You can reclaim my trust by actually telling the fucking truth periodically if you ever see fit to do so, but apparently you don't see fit to do so ever.
Dude, I agree. You do know that she invited those people there though, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Look, I'm not excusing her, but I'm just saying
for sure
she didn't go out there and say that. Those dudes lied egregiously, provably.
Yeah.
And I had to unpack it on my show to figure out how badly they lied. And it made me mad, man. I was like, and I've been at events with Posobiec too. Like, this is what I'm saying. It starts to get personal to me.
Yeah.
When I see people that I've encountered that like, I'm South Florida guy, right? So like I've been around him quite a bit. And it's just like, dude, what's wrong with you? Like if the evidence is so overwhelming, why are you sandbagging him? Why are you doing that? Like, just tell the truth. Like, this should be really easy. This kid, you've got confession text messages, you've got surveillance camera, you got DNA, you got all this, right? Why are you lying? Explain to me why you're lying. And I don't have an explanation for it. It just seems egregious, malicious deceit. And that pisses me off. I don't know. As I've gotten older, I take like honesty very seriously. Like,
same.
Do not lie to me. And they lied to me. So
yeah, I couldn't agree more. I did a lot of breakdown on that too, because I don't know if you saw, but Benny Johnson on like the 11th and 12th, he himself said the video was so poor quality, like talking about the stairwell footage, which is more clear
way
than
better.
than the Losi Center rooftop footage. He said that stuff is so bad you can't even tell if it's a man or a woman. All right. And then Trump on the 11th is on the Good Morning, like Fox and Friends show. And he says that footage is basically useless. The Losi Center rooftop video specifically, and says that this was pretty much all they had. They started from basically nothing except for this basically useless video where he's the size of an ant.
Wait, Trump said that? I did not see that footage. Wow. Good work by you digging that up.
Yeah. And Benny Johnson and who else? Graham Allen, a lot of them, like in the initial like days and weeks, were saying that the Losi Center rooftop footage specifically was bad footage, that it wasn't clear, that it, and then, that last day of the preliminary hearing, they all come out, Brandon Tatum, Graham Allen, Jack Posobiec. I know I'm missing someone. There's got to be someone else that was there. And Benny Johnson all came out, and literally Andrew Colvett and Blake Neff had like Graham Allen phone in and Jack Posobiec and on the show. So even then Andrew and Blake get in on it and are saying that it's so clear, it's high def, it's 4K. You can see him pull the trigger. You can see the recoil. You can see the muzzle flash. And then in a matter of like days and then weeks, you hear them backtrack. The only one that was very careful was Brandon Tatum. He came out initially like super strong, but within about 24 to 48 hours, he goes, well, actually, it's still a very clear footage. But what you really see is and they say Tyler Robinson, and you see the gun and he lays down, but then he goes, but you look at the timestamp and when Charlie was killed, and you can see the guy laying down, and then he gets up right after. So you can deduce that that's when he shot it.
That's just to cover your ass, revision, basically, though.
100%.
It really is, because you just cannot tell that there's like, what bothers me so terribly about it is that they lied so egregiously when in reality, you can't see a kick, you can't see a muzzle flash, and you can't see a rifle on that roof at all, ever. And I'm talking the, the close-up HD 4K footage that we saw, and I'm talking about the original footage that we saw. That dude jumping off that roof, that is a floppy item. That is not a 3.5 foot Mauser 98 chambered in 30-06. It is not. That's not what I see there. Sorry. And it just pisses me off that like it's gaslighting, right? Like they're
100%.
trying to make us feel crazy. And I'm like, dude, I have functioning eyes. Okay. I'm looking at this. I don't see it. Do you see it? And they're like, yeah, I see it. No, you don't. Why are you lying to me? Like, well, it's so egregious how they lie. And they have no qualms about it. And I think at the end of the day too, it becomes more and more obvious that these people are on the payroll.
Yeah.
And, most of them I already looked at as being water carrying hacks for the GOP, Con Inc.
Yeah.
They're going to lie on behalf of the Trump administration. I kind of accept that though. That pisses me off, but it doesn't like infuriate me. When you start lying about a murder investigation, now I'm mad. Now I'm like, there's something deeply wrong with you people. Like, I can't even describe how disgusting that is to me. I can't even imagine being somebody like that. Why would you do that? And you're caught red-handed and you have no shame. And you just go about your life, like just cash another check and then go fucking write another lie. Like, oh man, these people are reprehensible. They really are.
Man. So the rooftop footage.
Sorry, am I being too profane? I try to cut it back, but it doesn't matter.
You're okay, dude. You're okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're okay. I think what's worse too, it's not just like any murder that they're covering. It's their former boss, supposedly their freaking friend.
Yeah.
It's their new boss's, former husband, but he's deceased. And when he was alive, they all, at least were on the same page with what Charlie was saying. And now that he's gone, though, they've like completely changed everything. And on top of that, they're being extremely dishonest about this case. And it couldn't be more clear. I mean, how bad they're lying. Thank God there was two people, I think Brandy Siciliani and Billy Webb were two people on the ground in the preliminary hearing that day that came out immediately. And even though like we didn't even need them to validate that, because like we had seen the maddened, that's what Andrew Colvett was calling it, the like Madden video, because it had like red circles and arrows. I mean, they still showed us the video. It just wasn't zoomed in. But even without Billy and, Brandy's testimony of what really they saw inside, we could already pretty much use our own brain and be like, there's no way. Did you know that so it was either last week or the week before. Oh, okay. This is when it was. Whenever Candace released her video of, that portion of the Losi Center video, because it's all one video. It's one camera. It captures 180 degrees from left to right. They just initially, they cropped it where it starts when he's already running, and they zoom in on the corner. He jumps off, and then it cuts it before he crosses the street. Then they release this side where it's zoomed in this way. But that when Candace Owens released that video and pretty much proved that they're all liars, and we already knew it, but now we just kind of have proof of that. They came out on their show and were like, actually, there's another video. The one that they showed in court is a separate surveillance camera that's a different angle, and that one is clear. Did you know that?
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're going to try and do that, but I'll tell you, shout out to CanCon Actual on Rumble. He went through based off of the exhibits, and there was actually testimony during the trial, and he's like, oh, I remember when they brought up that exhibit. It's like 12.2 or something like that.
Yep.
And he rewound to Tuesday, or I think it was Tuesday because the final day was on Friday, and he found where there was an angle from Court TV looking over one of the attorney's shoulders, and they could see the monitor, and he could see the monitor, and he's like, nope, that's the exact same camera, that's the exact same footage. So I think they're just lying again because they know that we've got probably 6 or 12 months before there's a jury trial, before we'll actually get to see whatever the hell they saw, right? So they're just lying again. But again, it's just really important that people think about this deeply. Why? If this is really, if Tyler Robinson did this, you don't need to lie. You just flat out don't need to lie. So if you are lying at all, on the prosecution side, you're one of his good friends, you know, what are you doing? Like it comes across at that point like you are being deployed, like you are employed and deployed to go deceive. And I just think that's the most unforgivable thing I've seen in all this, aside from the murder itself.
Do you think that it's because it points to a much bigger thing? Like either
Yes.
it's because of what he was opposing, which led to his possible assassination, and or how everyone that seems to maybe be connected to this in some way, shape, or form, that it leads back to like higher parts of our government and maybe a foreign government as well?
Yeah, I think that's the only explanation that makes sense to me. I mean, sure, you know, sometimes people, they kind of ruminate on the concept that TPUSA did it. You know, like there was corruption that they were trying to cover up, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't buy that at all.
Yeah,
This
no.
is either like what we're being told. This is a low level radicalized leftist, or it is a high level intel assassination with a patsy setup. Like those are your options.
Yeah.
I personally lean towards the latter, but
Yeah.
I don't know for sure at this point. But I'm sorry, I don't buy for a second that TPUSA was just taking them out to cover up some financial malfeasance within, you know, their accounting or something like that. Like, no way. To me, no way. You have to have the FBI involved. You have to have, you know, George Zinn ready to pop up and say, I did it. You have to have, you know, basically a local police that, you know, shut off the body cam footage right before he finds the screwdriver.
Officer Bagley.
Yeah, Bagley. You have to have the FBI essentially, you know, lying. They'd have to be lying about certain levels of this. So that to me implies very high level. Like it's either low level, lefty radical. I go like 30% chance, maybe 40% on depending on how I feel during a day. And then 60%, I think it's almost, to me, I'll just be straight with you.
Yep.
To me, the most obvious motive that exists to take Charlie Kirk's life was the fact that he was receiving tens or hundreds of millions of dollars from pro-Zionist donors, and he decided he wasn't going to do that anymore. And 48 hours, he died.
Yeah.
That's the most obvious motive that exists on planet Earth. It's a way bigger motive than some radical leftist who was pissed because Charlie Kirk believed that marriage was between a man and a woman. This is it. This is as big as it gets. Okay, that's how big it is. He is the largest get out the vote right wing influencer in America, and he said, "I'm not going to carry water for you anymore, Israel." That's what he said.
Yep.
That's about as big a motive as has ever existed for a political assassination, right up there with JFK or anybody else.
Yeah. I looking back at I don't think that like it was planned, executed, and covered up all from within TPUSA. I don't know to what degree certain people had foreknowledge or were told compartmentalized information and was made to go along with their one part in this. Maybe they thought or were told that they were doing something, that it was for some other reason that day. I know that, like, I don't know how to make sense of like Mikey turning around and walking away in 0.85 seconds and Blake Neff doing the same thing. Like their reaction wasn't normal if they actually thought that a real shooter was happening right then and they didn't have foreknowledge that it was only going to be one shot or one explosion.
I agree. Their behavior is bizarre. Just to clarify what I'm saying is, I just don't believe that, like, if it was just TPUSA that had just flipped on Charlie and they were trying to cover up accounting shit or whatever, like shenanigans, they're not getting away with this. Okay.
Yeah.
Like this was sloppy enough that like, if this isn't an intel hit, then the FBI pops them.
Yeah.
they go to prison because that was sloppy as fuck.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that they weren't involved with the intel side. Like maybe they were being coerced. Maybe they were going along voluntarily.
For sure.
I have no idea. Maybe they just reacted strangely because people do weird shit in crisis moments. That's always a possibility. But, I've been in some crisis moments and I don't see it, dude.
Yeah.
I don't see that reaction happening by all of his security and all of the TPUSA people. Just almost none of them reacted as if there was like, hey, we're in a live fire drill here. You know, like why is this so lackadaisical by some of you? Like you just heard the shot go off. Your boss is down, hemorrhaging blood, and many of you just seem like the threat is over now.
Yep.
You know, like that'll never sit right with me.
No, and like Terrell Farnsworth, right? He gets up and walks. Most of them don't duck and cover. They don't look for actual cover and concealment. Blake Neff and Mikey McCoy just walk away and they just keep walking. They could have just walked into another shooter. They have no idea where the threat is coming from, if the threat's been neutralized. And then you have Terrell Farnsworth that walks away and gets onto high ground. So he exposes himself even more. And it's him alone up there on that wall, and then he records himself with the worst. Yeah, like you said, they're B- acting. It's like soap opera acting, right? It's like the worst acting, for daytime television.
Very strange behavior.
Records himself, Charlie's dead. They killed him. And then he records them loading him into the car.
Yep.
And then he goes and takes the SD cards out with Philip Goldsberry. None of that to me could make, and then all of their stories as to why they all did those things. That's when I really started to think, and I think that's probably what did it for a lot of people, was we weren't looking at them initially, but then we started seeing these videos, and then we started questioning about this, and then their answers were just ridiculous.
Well, to me, the thing that bothers me the most about the TPUSA inner circle is not even so much like I could get past that if I felt like they had been honest with me ever since.
Yes.
But like, because they've been duplicitous and deceptive and obfuscating basically ever since that attack, I have no reason to give you the benefit of the doubt about you behaving oddly in the immediate aftermath or in the immediate lead up right before the shot gets fired. Like, had they all just said like, wait, you lied about the fact that Charlie was texting you that he feared for his life and that he was abandoning the pro-Israel cause 48 hours, and you lied about that? Like, you hit a potential lead to tracking down who killed our friend, our boss, our husband, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If they had at any point, had they reflected my own anger about the deception that we were experiencing, then I would have been like, okay, these are honest people. These are good people. But none of them did, ever. Why? Why aren't you mad? Why am I more mad about Charlie Kirk, who I didn't know and I hardly ever encountered? Why am I more mad than you guys? It just really makes me question all of these people on a level that makes me uncomfortable, honestly. Like, I don't want to feel that way about so many people, but like, if you're just being honest about this and you've actually looked into the stuff that you and I have, there's no way that sits right with you.
No.
Like, that was a huge motive. And in the immediate aftermath, for 2 weeks or more, they were all just pointing fingers at Candace Owens going, what a lying, lunatic piece of shit this lady is.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sitting on the receipts the entire time.
Yep.
And then she drops them. They don't apologize. Look, as far as I'm concerned, what's the name of the guy? I always blank on his name. Radio Hack, the guy who was in the text messages that lied about them and called Candace a liar. I can't remember his name. Josh Hammer.
Yeah, Josh Hammer.
Yeah. That dude should be under investigation.
Yeah.
I'm not bullshitting. Like, if you lied about a viable motive for the assassination of a guy and you're caught red-handed, like, why is the FBI not talking to him? Like, I don't understand why you're not investigating these people who lied about obvious angles for motive. I'll never understand it. I'll never understand why I'm the only one that's like really disturbed by that.
Mm-hmm. What's weird too is that Andrew supposedly thought that those text messages were concerning enough that he sent them to the FBI.
Sent them to Joe Kent, probably, but yeah. Or Cash.
And then denies that they're concerning.
I know. This is what I'm saying. But this is the reason that for a while, I actually trusted Andrew Colvett, because I was like, wait, he's definitely not in on it. Because if he saw those and he screenshotted that and he sent that off to, some people think he sent it to JD Vance. Some people think he sent it to Kash Patel, Joe Kent. I don't know who he sent it to. But regardless, that's the honorable, correct thing to do when your boss, like, he's the PR guy, but you're like your second-hand man to Charlie Kirk, and you see him get dropped, and you're like, wait, I was in a group chat with Charlie when he was saying a couple days ago he feared for his life and he's going to abandon the pro-Israel cause. I'm going to send this off to Intel. I'm going to send this off to the highest levels of the federal government and see if they think it's anything worth running down. That was honorable. Thank you, Andrew Colvett, from September 11th and 12th of 2025. Where the fuck did you go, dude? Who are you now? You know, that's what makes me mad about it, is because I know there's an honorable, like, honest person living within that shell of Andrew Colvett. But now I don't know what he is. You know, that's the other reason that I try not to hammer these people too hard, because I think that many of them are probably, like, if I'm reading this right, it comes across like they're in fear for their lives. Like,
yeah, that's a possible option for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's what it comes across as. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he does have connections to like Johnny Moore and the Kairos Company and Miriam Adelson, and I don't know. Like, yeah, I go back and forth with, they are being threatened, they're being bribed, they've, you know, been blackmailed, maybe a little bit of all three, or they're part of it. Because I mean, obviously, like, one of the critiques from like Gary Meltdown and other people on the FedSlop side is like, do you really think this many people could be involved? And they say that it makes it less plausible, when in reality, no. I mean, like, 9/11 has stayed pretty much a secret for a long time. The majority of the public still don't believe it's an inside job. JFK, like, a lot of people like, did you know that Blake Neff did a video where he believes that it was Lee Harvey Oswald?
No, but I mean, I guess nothing surprises me about Blake Neff at this point.
And even Charlie Kirk questioned the official narrative. He believes that, you know,
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went on a phenomenal monologue a couple of years ago about the JFK assassination. I think he was talking to Tucker Carlson. It was great. I mean, that was like, those were the moments that I had affinity for Charlie Kirk, because he sounded like me in those moments. Yeah. So that's that. And, you know, I also like the fact that Charlie was pushing a limited government, you know, pro-capitalism. Like, he had very libertarian leanings when it came to domestic policy. Like, that's right up my alley. So I always respected that about him. But yeah, anyways, getting back to the conspiracy side of things, it's like, you don't need to have all those people who are lying to us now to actually have been involved in the murder. They can just be scared out of their minds.
Right.
Like, especially if this went sideways. Like, imagine that Tyler Robinson was supposed to be taken out in the immediate aftermath.
Which I think,
I think it's likely, right? If he was a patsy, he's not supposed to be alive. We all know how the patsy game works. You're not supposed to survive that. He's supposed to be a leftist radical who kills Charlie Kirk to avenge or defend his gay trans lifestyle, and then he pops himself. That's how it's supposed to go down. That's how it always is supposed to go down with a patsy scenario. So it feels as if this went wrong. You know, it feels as if, like, we're not supposed to have had 10 months of diving deep and discovery and, you know, debates online and unpacking all this. Like, I don't think this was supposed to go down that way. If it was in fact a you know, kind of a false flag patsy setup.
Yeah.
So that's my read of it. But because of that, you don't need all of these TPUSA folks to be, you know, lying egregiously to cover their own ass. Like, oh, they were all game planning to take out Charlie Kirk. They can all be feeling the same way we do, and just be like, look, we need to have Tyler Robinson go to prison, because we don't know who's next. Like, all of us are in the line of fire. And I think that they would all be just in feeling that way, because if they are suspecting the same things that we are, well, then for them to come out and say it, especially as a TPUSA, you know, higher up, that would put them in the line of fire, you know, like, big time. And I'll just add one other note. I know a lot of high influence people. You know, I know, because I've been doing this for 5+ years now, and I've gotten to, you know, do a lot of big shows. I know quite a few, right? And I'll tell you, privately, there's a hell of a lot of more people that believe and feel the way I do about this than talk about it publicly. Okay. Like, they are scared out of their minds. And I think that that's the unfortunate reality. Like, they don't want to go down the Candace Owens avenue or the Baron Coleman, Ian Carroll, Clint Russell. Like, they don't want to do that. They don't want to be known as being in our camp. But privately, oh yeah, they're watching these shows, and they're like, I am really, really nervous about what went down that day.
I mean, yeah, I said it's like a litmus test right now, that like people that immediately hold to the official FedSlop narrative. I mean, you can either, maybe they don't know enough about it, and they just are, or they're watching those people and they just have come to, I don't know. I really, it's hard for me because it's so obvious to me that at least something's wrong. It definitely, the whole official story is just, it's full of holes more than it is full of evidence, that when
Yep.
people are so confident when they're like, Tyler Robinson did it, his parents turned him in, right? Like he confessed in the text messages, it's like, but then when you actually probe at some of these things, there's no way that you can hold that position honestly, because we don't have any proof that he sent those text messages. Like
Nope.
all of the major pieces of evidence haven't been validated, at least in my opinion. I don't remember seeing like them showing proof that he confessed to his parents and his parents ID'd him from like the worst footage ever.
Nope.
Or that they verified.
Literally none of it happened. It's all based off of the charging document.
Yes.
That's it. I mean, we didn't get any additional, we got less evidence in the preliminary hearings than we got from that charging document. That charging document is everything. That's what Andrew Wilson is using as the gospel, right? I'm sorry. Like, that's not how I view our government. That's not how I view murder investigations or investigations more broadly. I don't take the charging document from the cops and go like, throw him, lethal inject this guy like immediately. Like, that's not how I view things. And I'm sorry, but political assassinations in particular, you should never take at face value, ever, ever, ever. Political assassinations are almost never what you're actually, what you think at first blush. So I think that's what also makes me so mad, because it's like, I know these people, Jack Posobiec was like some QAnon nut.
Yes.
And now he treats me like I'm a crazy person. Like, fuck you, dude. I wasn't trusting the plan and, waiting for the next Q drop. I was at least smart enough to see through that shit. But I'll tell you, I'm not gonna be buffaloed by this, and you are. So I don't know.
Oh my goodness. How do you are you still friends with Tim Pool? Sorry. That, like, cause like, I agree with you on like almost everything. Not that we have to, but just like from the stuff I watch, like those are the conclusions I've come to myself.
Right.
And then I watch Tim and I'm like, what the heck is going on there?
Well, now you know how I feel. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll always consider Tim a friend, because he helped me out when he didn't need to. He put me on his show a dozen times, and I was nobody the first time I went on there, and I'm still barely anybody. Like most people don't know who I am. So, I'm that type of person. Like, I will always appreciate anybody that gives me a leg up, especially if they didn't need to. Yeah. And personally, I liked him. We played poker for 20, 30 hours over the years. We get along fine. But when it comes to our political worldview and our outlook and our commentary and our public personas, we couldn't have gone more polar opposite. But the thing that rubs me the wrong way about it is that I didn't change, like I continued to apply all of the same principles. I wanted to put my country first. I wanted to focus on peace and getting the debt down. And I wanted to get away from the woke nonsense. And I wanted, and I wanted prosecution for Fauci. And I wanted right? I wanted justice for Epstein, all this stuff, all the stuff that we agreed on.
Yes.
And then Trump gets in there, and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino get in there, and they all just fucking lied. And it's obvious that they lied, and they're not doing shit for us. And I say that that's the case, and Tim and so many others are just like, you're just making it up, Clint. It's like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm literally watching this day to day, and I know what they're accomplishing, and they're not accomplishing anywhere close to what they promised. Like maybe 4%. Sure, he got the border under control. Like, kudos. But that's it. Yeah. Is that enough for you? Because it ain't enough for me. We needed a heroic moment, and you didn't deliver. So anyways, long story short, I guess I've lost some respect for Tim in terms of his public persona. I don't understand why he's doing what he's doing. It comes across to me as if he is trying to maintain his proximity to power, that he wants to have, a White House press briefing pass, and he wants to get invited on Fox News. And just to cut to the chase, I don't give a fuck about any of that. And I will never care about any of that. And I don't want any of that. In fact, if they were to offer it to me, I would throw it in the trash. I don't want it at all, including the Fox News spots.
Yeah.
I just feel like Tim and I view these things in a totally different way. I am 1,000,000% in this to tell the truth all the time, even when it goes against my priors. I am only interested in the truth all the time, even when I'm, it's me admitting that I was wrong about something.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that a lot of people are like that. And I've learned that over the years that unfortunately that's a rare trait, but it shouldn't be.
When you were with Brandon Straka, sorry if did I pronounce that right? Is it Straka?
Straka, yeah.
Did he tell you what his thoughts were on the Charlie Kirk case? Did that come up at all?
I think we did talk about it briefly, but I honestly can't remember what he said.
Because right now, recently, what's come out is because he had Marjorie Taylor Greene on, and I don't know if he had Elizabeth Lane on. All I know is that online, he's been shoring up the Fed slop narrative, and I was like, oh no, dude, like another good one bites the dust.
How so? Is he like interviewing people to defend it, or is he defending it himself?
He's defending it himself.
Oh, well, that's a mistake. I was just on the phone with Brandon a week ago trying to help him with his algo issues on YouTube. So I'm disappointed to hear that.
Yeah,
it's not like I know him well, but
no, I know. But I mean I was just bummed when I started seeing that, and then other people started sending it to me too, and I was like, yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I just was like bummed that another person that I've been watching and following and like coming to respect a lot, that on this issue, and that's so true with like so many other people that like I followed or watched or listened to in the past, that on this particular issue, they're holding up, the official narrative as like fact and truth, which is insane to me.
Well, that's ultimately what put Tim and I at odds, is like he was just being so vicious towards Candace Owens.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really care. It's not like she's my homegirl or something, you can talk shit to her if you want, but it was just the rage that he was demonstrating towards her paled in comparison to like his, I don't know, it lacks sincerity, and it also lacks sincerity in genuinely pursuing justice for Charlie Kirk, who Tim knew a lot better than I did, like a lot better.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know, man. I guess that's how I judge people, like if one of my friends were to get assassinated, like I would not fucking rest until I knew 100% that they got not just the guy, but every motherfucker involved.
Yeah.
Like that's how I am. So when I see anybody behaving otherwise and also attacking people who are doing what I think they ought to be doing to avenge their friend, to make sure that they get justice, that rubs me the wrong way, like deeply. And I ignored it for months, and I tried to bite my tongue about it. I did bite my tongue about it. I didn't say shit about it on my show. I just was like, Tim's doing his own thing. I just tried to keep it separate. Right. And then he eventually lashed out at me publicly, like bad. He went on like this 30-minute rant about me. And I was like, oh, well, the gloves are off now. Now I'm telling the truth, Tim. Big mistake.
Bro, it's similar like with Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum. I don't know how they navigate that right now. And then really, Candace hasn't said much. She's actually said pretty much nothing on it. But
yeah, it's wild.
Brandon, in the last few weeks, especially after the preliminary hearing, like he was getting questions from his community, and he came out and had some pretty choice words. And then what's really weird is he's like, yes, I'm gonna talk to her. I need to talk to her about this. And he goes, maybe one of you will send her this video.
Like he's got her phone number. What are you doing?
That's what.
Yeah, well, I mean, Brandon Tatum, I think, is about as lowbrow a Zio propagandist that exists on the planet. Like, he's not even smart enough to lie,
Nope.
Like he's just like, give me the talk. This is going to sound racist. I don't care, Brandon. Get upset. Give me them talking points, boss. Like that's how I view Brandon Tatum. He just doesn't give a shit about the truth or anything. He's just like, sign the check. That's it. That's all I care about. So I'll be honest. It bothers me a little bit that Candace Owens considers him a friend still. Like,
I don't know how.
Like she takes the Charlie Kirk investigation so seriously, and yet she still overlooks that with Brandon. Like,
I don't know how.
That's pretty wild to me. And also, I just got to be very clear. The reason I take this shit so personally, aside from Charlie Kirk side of things, is that I've come to the conclusion after years of studying not just this case, but just our general influencer class, that almost all of these people that I've been talking about, almost all of them. Now, this is my suspicion. I don't have the receipts. I don't have the checkbook signed. I believe to the center of my soul that almost every single one of them, to a man, is on the payroll of a foreign government. That's my honest to God opinion. So when people go like, why are you so mad all the time? Why are you so mean to Ben Shapiro? And I'm like, well, because I believe that they're traitors to my country.
Mm-hmm.
And I have reason to feel that way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's my honest to God feeling. I really believe that those people are on foreign payroll. Sure, maybe the money's funneled through a domestic NGO and it ends up blah, 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 whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think that these people are legitimately, like, they're committing treason on the daily. Like, they are actively propagandizing the American people to do the bidding of a foreign government. It's as bad a thing as you can do, basically. It's evil.
So, yeah, and I think Elizabeth Lane went over that with Tucker Carlson last week, about this Ukrainian company, and then calling out like Gary Melton and a couple others. And I mean, going back to like the Candace thing with Brandon Tatum, you saw like Dave handle him on Pierce Morgan, right? Dave Smith, when they did their little thing.
I believe it or not, I have not seen that clip, but I've heard it was great though.
It was, because literally, like, to the T, Brandon spits out what only could be viewed as Hasbro talking points. And then Dave knows it so well. He goes, you didn't even do it right. And then he corrects him. And he goes, your actual talking point is, and then feeds it to him.
Dave's the best.
But I love Dave Smith. I love that he destroyed Josh Hammer at the SAS over the summer. And I mean, it just shows you where Charlie was at and like how serious he was on this. To have Dave Smith on, he didn't have to. And even Dave said that, Dave was like, Charlie didn't need to have me on. He chose to. And I think that's very poignant as to the timing, because that's the same summer where he has Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson. He tells Tucker Carlson to go max. And then he does that sit down with the chapter leads of TPUSA, where it's like this focused roundtable group with Andrew Colvett. And it literally looks like Andrew's his, Israeli handler during that whole thing. And the whole conversation with the students is all on Israel. And Charlie's like in agreement with them on everything. So,
well, and also I believe that event, they were all at the same event. I think it was Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson. And by the way, when it's key to remember, when he was told to go max, he was talking about Epstein.
Yes.
That is like the one thing, if you're a pro-Israel guy, you don't talk about that, right? And then it was also Dave Smith. Let's just be honest. Josh Hammer was being fed to Dave Smith for a second time. We already knew that Josh Hammer couldn't fucking hold a candle to Dave Smith in a debate. Nope. And Charlie Kirk was like, here, go kill him again. Do it for me.
Please.
So I'm just telling you, that comes across like a guy who is secretly on our side. And then you see the private conversations with Candace Owens and you go like, oh shit, this started back in 23, Like he goes on PBD, he talks about the stand down on October 7th, and he says, oh, they're in the tribe. And he's starting to sound like too many red pills, right?
Yes.
So that's my read of who he was. He was a guy who was a mover and shaker who bit his tongue to try and advance his career, his influence, which is not something I respect, because I don't do that ever. As you can tell, I don't bite my tongue at all.
Yeah.
Except for like when it's friends, I try to, like Tim, I tried to not go to public war with him.
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, privately, I think Charlie knew that he was participating in evil. I think that he knew that defending Israel as they obliterated, tens of thousands of children. I think at the end of the day, he knew that was wrong. So.
Yeah. And I think pre-2023 is like a totally different time in our country when it comes to like our view on Israel. Yes, a lot of people,
for me too. Yeah.
And a lot of people were maybe already there, but for the majority, like we hadn't really arrived there yet. October 7th, and then there is Israel's response to October 7th really like woke a lot of people up. And like you said, he was on PBD and he's like, I got to be careful how I say this. Bibi's got a mandate to ethnically cleanse Gaza. and then he questions the response. Like, was it a full on, like, did they help fund Hamas and like make it happen? Or did he just totally tell them all to stand down in a country the size of New Jersey, a response time of how many hours when he's like, you can fly from point to point and,
40
not even
minutes. And it took him 8 hours. It's like, no, he asked all the questions you're not supposed to ask. You know that. And then he immediately started to get hit pieces written about him. And I think it just radicalized him tremendously because he was like, you guys are literally like, I think personally that Charlie Kirk believed to his core that there was a stand down order on October 7th, and it was fully intended to green light the ethnic cleansing of Gaza.
Yes.
And I believe that he viewed that the exact same way he probably felt in private. I don't know if he's ever said it publicly about 9/11, that the global war on terror was a consequence of a, again, false flag. And he was pissed about it. And I wish I had known Charlie personally now, because publicly he and I more often than not would be cross with one another because I was like non-interventionist, anti-war, not pro-Israel guy. And he was the opposite oftentimes. But I think privately we would have gone along great, honestly.
Yeah, I have, so many questions that I wish I could have asked him on why he held certain positions when he did. But I mean, even within like the Protestant evangelical Christian community before 2023, like it was a thing to just, support Israel as like your biblical duty to do so. But like someone that would read 200 books a year, an autodidact, a very intelligent guy. He's been in the political sphere longer than me. He's read the Bible probably more times than me. I'd have questions on like, what did he think about the Scofield Bible, on when the term Judeo-Christian, value, and, when that term was coined by Darby and it was like funded by the Rothschilds and the Oxford Press. And how that like that was tied into, the elders of Zion, and like it fed the next however many years, like 100 years almost, because that was like in the early 1900s when Darby did that. But like how he, I don't know, like
how did he square that with his faith?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it'd be a really interesting conversation. My guess is that he had those conversations with Candace.
Yeah.
Because I think that Candace was the only person in his life that he trusted, that he could be honest with about his, I don't know, challenges of his faith. But I don't really think it was a challenge of his faith. I think it was just like a challenge of his political persona versus his deeply held religious faith.
Yeah.
And that this is my personal read. I could be totally wrong, but my personal read after doing a lot of research over the past 10 months is that Charlie was legitimately awake about what Israel was all about and what they were doing and their influence. And he was very, very personally awake and impacted by the pro-Zionist donors trying to curtail his speech, trying to dictate who was going to be at his events and who was allowed to speak and how long and da-da-da-da-da. They were also, publicly lambasting him for saying what he had to say too. And I know he didn't like that, because he was a big free speech, open debate, open dialogue guy. That's his whole thing, right? That's his whole claim to fame. So that's my read. I think personally he was, or privately I should say, he was real red pilled as to what was going on. And I think that text was not a fucking bluff. I think he was telling them, I've got no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause, and he intended to.
Okay, can you tell me what did Harrison's, what did the text that Harrison have say? Did it actually say Israel on it?
I don't remember Harrison having a text.
No, his post. Sorry.
Oh yeah. No, it was about Israel specifically.
That Charlie was concerned.
He said Charlie. This was, people can look it up. 1 month before Charlie Kirk was murdered, Harrison Hill Smith, the InfoWars analyst, commentator, he posted publicly on X saying, I'm not going to give up my source, but I have it, essentially on good authority that Charlie Kirk believes that if he goes against Israel, he will be killed. Something to that effect.
That's right. That's right. No, that's right. I just wanted to re-clarify in my brain, because then the text message that was sent the night before, after that, pretty much like a pressure session, right? So this would have been on the night of the 9th, that he does.
August.
Well, No, no,
Or
no,
are
no.
you talking about right before the murder?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Josh Hammer's on the call. Rabbi Wolicki is on the call. Some
Right.
other Israeli agents are on the call. That's what Rabbi Wolicki said. He
Yeah.
calls them Israeli agents. I don't know who else they are. Like Frank Turek is there. Andrew Colvin is there. Whether they're on the phone, like virtually, or just there, I know that Blake Neff and Mikey McCoy. Some of them are in person. I think that Mikey McCoy and Frank Turk were in person. The rest were all virtual. But after that, after that like Zoom call meeting, he gets off and sends the text that he thinks they are going to kill him. And that's who Andrew Colvett is now saying that text means the crazy left, when there was literally nothing going on in his life at the time that he would even be afraid of the left.
Well,
So
and in that text message the day prior, he's saying explicitly that the pro Israel donors, right?
yes,
He's being very explicit about the pressure he's under, and specifically who that pressure is coming from. And we now know, because Robert Shillman, said it to Dinesh D'Souza during that
Yep.
interview, that it was
Yep.
him, that
Yep.
he had ripped $2 million out of Charlie Kirk's pocket, or TPUSA's pocket, because he was upset about the panelists at that event in Tampa.
Yep.
So, look, you want to lie to the public and pretend as if Charlie Kirk was saying the left is going to kill him. That's not what I read. Sorry, I don't read that at all. That's not what it comes across to me as.
No, and I don't know what's his name. His name is Grant Cardone. So Charlie went on the 10X conference in March of 2025. And Grant asks him a question, like if he's afraid, the question starts out like if he gets threats and things like that. And if he ever is in fear for his life, and he goes like, I'm not afraid of crazy purple haired jihadists. That's like a walk in the park. That's like a Tuesday. Yes, that happens all the time. Yes, we get threats, but no, that doesn't bother me or concern me. He goes on to say that the people that really draw his attention are people on the inside, people that have betrayed him, lied to him, people that have, betrayed him and, broken his trust. And he's talking about people on his inner circle. He said that himself in March of 2025. So
Comes
that
across like he had already recognized Judas in his midst.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, let me ask you a question real quick about the actual footage. When did you start to question the official narrative, like that it was a 30-06 or wasn't? And where did
right.
you?
As soon as they reported it was a 30-06.
Okay.
That was, it was that day for sure. I was like, I'm not a big hunter or anything, but I've shot a decent amount, and I'm like, 30-06, huh? Bare neck, really? No exit? And then I, for a while though, we hadn't seen any rear. For months and months, we didn't see any rear footage, right?
Correct.
So I just assumed that they were wrong. I was like, nah, there's an exit. Okay.
Right.
Just trust me. There's an exit wound somewhere. Maybe it hit here, hits his spine, goes out of his lower back, through the shirt or something. I don't know. I couldn't guess, but I was like, there's definitely an exit wound. There ain't. So, that's how I feel about it, is just like, I don't buy it, dude. And look, I haven't come to a conclusion, but I got to be honest. John Bray's work on the shape charge hypothesis is extraordinarily compelling.
Yeah.
If anybody hasn't dug deep on his website, it's a fucking gold mine. And that dude has poured like massive amounts of autism into into this endeavor. He's a very impressive human being.
Yes, he is. He's been on the show multiple times. That's, I think, the most likely possibility. Especially when you realize that Israel had older version of this technology back with the Hamas pagers, right?
Yeah.
And those things were in circulation.
You mean Hezbollah?
Hezbollah, thank you. Yeah. The Hezbollah pagers that had been in circulation for 10 years before they actually went off. So whatever technology they had at the time, you better believe it's way more advanced now.
Well, yeah. And then you've also got Baron Coleman's research into that factory that gets blowed up, right?
AES, Accurate Energetic Systems in Tennessee, 30 days after the fact.
Right. And could you come up with a more picture perfect name for a business than it's accurate energetic systems. Like that's a shape charge facility, right? Like that's what it sounds like to me. Look, again, like I said, I can't prove it, so I'm not gonna say it definitively. But I lean in that direction hard, and I'll just be straight with you. For a long time, I rejected it just because I thought it just seemed so far fetched to have the bang, as John has laid out. Clearly, there is a hypersonic round being fired, like, based off of his own very high level research that he's done.
Yep.
And I'm just like, if they're gonna do that, why not just do it? If Tyler Robinson's your fall guy, just have him fire the shot. I just don't get it. But it just becomes increasingly compelling as time goes on because of all of the issues with the rest of the narrative, the 30-06 round, the no exit wound, the obliterated, C2 to C6, the fact that or C7 maybe, his entire neck was poof,
destroyed.
Yeah, just gone. But you're telling me one 30-06 round hit one vertebrae, at most two, and then obliterated six neck vertebrae, and there's no exit? Like, dude, I'm not some forensic pathologist, but that sounds like bullshit to me. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think the only part of John Bray's theory that's hard for me but like, I don't have the level of, technical expertise that he has with like audio and video analysis. So I have to with a lot of these people that are doing their own, breakdown on whatever kind of video or audio that they're analyzing, I'm going to have to lean on their expertise and their knowledge. And so for that, then I need to trust the person and think that they're a credible person. Right. And so for John, I've had him on 4 times, maybe more. He's always come across as a very honest, very straightforward guy that is in this for the right reasons. He allows himself to be questioned. He puts his research out there to be scrutinized. And he's everything that I expect of the TPUSA people,
right? He's like, I don't get offended by questions. I will answer all of your questions. I'm totally transparent. I'm open to a back and forth. He's what. Man, I wish that John Bray worked at TPUSA. we would have got the truth a long time ago if he worked there, but unfortunately, he didn't.
You see who they have out there, right? Matt Tardio is the guy that they bring out there attacking John, specifically attacking Candace.
I know. These people. This is what I'm saying. I genuinely believe these people are mercenaries.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah.
They are.
I agree.
Media mercenaries. I don't know if anyone's coined that. I'll coin it now. They're media mercenaries.
Yeah, man. Okay, so what's going on with? Okay, so I don't know where to start with this question regarding Andrew Wilson. I haven't been able to watch everything that he did with Joe Rogan recently, but I've seen enough of the clips that have come out. Plus, I actually have some interactions with him. So, which is just so weird, right? This guy who is now he finally admitted that he's actually, working with TPUSA, supposedly training people there to go debate. And then is at the same time that Gary Melton and Blake Neff, Andrew Wilson, they all kind of come out at the same time and start doing X Spaces or showing up on X Spaces, trying to call out Candace Owens to debate. He agreed to debate me months ago. And then when it came time to do to actually schedule the time, he pretended like he didn't even know me. And then he's out here calling out Candace to debate him and saying that there's $300,000 on the line and stuff. And it's and I don't think I'm the only one that he had promised to debate before. And then he reneges on it and acts like he doesn't know who you are.
Right.
What happened? Give me your opinion on what went down with him and Joe Rogan.
Well, I'll keep it short, but if anybody's interested, my episode of Liberty Lockdown that came out at 8 p.m. tonight is a full unpacking of it. So they talked about the Charlie Kirk case for about 30 minutes of the 3-hour Joe Rogan experience. And I took all of the most pertinent things. So you'll get, instead of watching the full 3-hour garbage fest, because Andrew Wilson is not a pleasant person to listen to, in my humble opinion.
Yep.
You can watch my show and get the, what I feel is the truth about what has happened and counter it. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Hey, 5,100 views in the first 2 hours. All right, we're doing all right.
Yeah, no, you are. And you don't do live uploads. So it starts from scratch. It starts from zero,
Right.
which it makes it's a lot harder to get traction on it.
Yeah, well, and it also publicly it shows the number is always like an hour behind, so it's actually much higher than 5,600. But anyways, it's going well. I don't know if my audio is still
No, you're good. Sorry.
okay.
Hold on one second. What the heck? Where did you go? You're there. What the actual heck?
Hey, I'm back.
I don't know. All right, sorry. Keep going about Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, so long story short, I mean, he just goes out there and he fed slops for half an hour. Like he doesn't. I don't think he presents anything compelling. In fact, I know he didn't present anything compelling. The only defense he brings is that, the 30-06 was used in World War I or II and through some parts of Vietnam and Korea. And, it was well known that there was many instances of there not being exit wounds. Like, okay, dude, like, so, like,
did you see what it did to Martin Luther King?
Yeah, I did. And this is the other thing that he brings up, and it drives me absolutely up the fucking wall, is that Martin Luther King Jr. was hit in the fucking jaw, dude. Like,
bro,
not in the neck.
No.
Like, in the mandible, and then it exits, hits his clavicle. And
yeah,
then,
clavicle.
And then sticks in his shoulder, or maybe even towards his back. Maybe you can.
It did so much damage. It's insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
But my point is, even with Martin Luther King Jr., that's an exit wound. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
If it hits the jaw and then comes out and goes somewhere else, that's an exit wound, right?
Yep.
So it just makes me really mad. It just makes me mad when you're just not being honest. And the thing that really makes me mad is I think highly of Andrew Wilson's intellect. I've seen him in debates against people I respect, like Dave Smith.
Yes.
He really he read him the riot act. Like, he did really well in that debate.
Yep.
And for Dave, that's rare because almost nobody does well in a debate against Dave.
Yep.
So, I take it personally because I know he's not a dummy, right? And so that makes me feel like you're a liar, dude. You're the media mercenaries I was talking about prior. Like, I just don't think you're being honest with the public. And for the life of me, I don't know why people do that shit. Like, there is this will be a little bit I don't know, too much behind the baseball or whatever they call it. Inside baseball, excuse me, for your audience, but you'll probably know what I'm talking about. There is so much money to be made in. Mike was clipping. Sorry. There's so much money to be made in this industry by being honest. I don't understand the people who don't tell the truth. Like, I just think it's so reprehensible. Like, look at Joe Rogan, look at Tucker Carlson or Fuentes or Candace Owens. Like, all of these people are the biggest money-making machines that exist in our space. And I think what the conclusion I've come to over the years is that you don't need to sell out. God, I don't know why I clip all the time. You don't need to sell out to make a lot of money in this if you're actually good at it.
Right.
Like, that's really the conclusion I've come to. And all the people who are dog shit at it, they get to a certain threshold and a certain amount of followers, and they plateau and they go, look, I'm never going to be Tucker. I'm never going to be Fuentes or Candace Owens or any of these people. So I'm just going to cash the check, dude. I'm going to sign the bottom line make the deal with the devil, and I'm going to sell out my audience that I was, it was so hard fought to get over a decade. And I'm just going to sell out. And I think that's what these people do. And I think Andrew Wilson's one of them. That's my opinion. Don't sue me, Andrew. I think you're a fucking media mercenary.
I don't know how to see it any other way, actually.
Me too. That's the only reason I'm saying it. If I didn't genuinely believe it, I wouldn't say it.
Yeah, no, I don't know how to see it any other way, especially because I agree with you that, like, Andrew has come across as an intelligent person that, like, knows what he's talking about and can debate well. I don't agree with his debate tactics. Like, I didn't see how he debated with Josh, but a lot of like ad hominem attacks and making it personal. He'll like talk over people, and at least that's what I've seen on, what he's been doing lately on like X, or when he like debated Zach Costello. I thought that he could have done it better and not resulted to those kind of tactics. But he's smart enough to know how stupid this is.
Yep.
So it's like the only other conclusion I have is the same that you gave, is that like they're that they're doing it for money, and because they can't do it the way that like Baron Coleman, Julian Dory, yourself,
Right.
Candace Owens is doing it.
That's my honest opinion. I think that they all hit, because I think I'll just put it again. I'll be blunt about it. The easy money is in selling out. Like is in selling out, not isn't selling
Yes,
out. Is
correct.
in selling out. Like that's the easy money. It is hard to do what I do.
Yep.
Like I have to constantly go out and get new sponsors. A lot of sponsors don't want to fuck with me because
Yep.
I talk about stuff that I'm not supposed to. It's a harder road to hoe, but there's a way more money at the end of that rainbow if you can actually make it to the mountaintop. It's just
Right.
super hard. And there's only there's the Mount Rushmore of independent media, and then there's everybody else, right? But like, why are we doing this if we're not going to go that route? Like, why, if you wanted to be, Sean Hannity, why weren't you working at Fox News? Like, why'd you ever start podcasting? Like the whole reason I'm sure you got into this and all of us got into it, at least I thought, was that we didn't trust these sons of bitches, that they were all
100%.
obvious liars, bought and paid for, scum of the earth, that were just like literally selling out our country and destroying the future of our children. Like fuck
everything.
These people forever. Right.
Yep.
And now you're one of them. Like, oh, you're sick, like that's how I feel about these people. And that's why they don't like me, because they know that's how I feel about them. And I think at the end of the day, they know I'm right.
Yeah.
They know I'm right, that they sold the fuck out, that they're cashing $1,000 per tweet to propagandize their audience. And they're taking, $5,000 per episode, even though they don't even have an audience that approaches mine, but they're getting
correct
fat paychecks every single day, because that's the easy way. That's the easy way for the talentless people with a decent sized following to make a great, great living. And I bet you they make a lot more money than I do right now, but I sleep a lot better. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Did you have a similar reaction as like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and a lot of us after the assassination, where because, Candace, Tucker, and Charlie fought so hard to get Trump elected on like major things that we all agreed were important to us. And then him and the entire administration completely jumped ship and went the other direction, like obviously lied to us. Either he's like threatened, bribed, or it was like maybe part of this was the plan the whole time. I don't really care at this point, like what it is. The point is that the system is completely flawed, and we don't necessarily have a means to take our country back with the two parties that are our option right now.
Yeah, we don't. It's true. I mean, as a I ran for the VP slot under the Libertarian Party against Trump.
That's right.
So, yeah. So but then I'll be honest. I voted for Trump because I was like, I was so fearful of particularly the war in Ukraine escalating into World War III that I was like, look, Trump, I know he's a con man. I know he's full of shit, but he's really beating the drum on the I'm the president of peace thing. Right. And I just thought it would be so hard for him to pivot. And like, he knew he would be sacrificing his base to pivot and to go to war in Iran, to reverse course and start to send munitions and aid to Ukraine. We all knew, like, because of what he said on the campaign trail and the coalition that he put together, that his approval rating would immediately plummet if he chose to do this. So I just was like, I'm going to roll the dice. Maybe that's enough pressure to apply to a guy who's ego driven.
Yep.
And he'll.
All right. Yeah. You got it. While he's working on that, you guys, I'm going to read through a couple super chats. You fix it and come back. Ironic Irony, thank you so much for becoming a member. Hey, you, what a fantastic duo of level-headed, truth-seeking men. Great takes on Andrew Wilson's Joe Rogan experience. Clint, he's a disgrace. Yeah, God bless you, gents. Thank you so much, Deborah Oliver, for the jewels, and Deanne as well. And yeah, a train. Thank you so much for that. Same with you. I need a nap. And then here we go. We got Deanne. People say Erika Kirk wasn't used to the public eye because they didn't know her, but she's been seeking the limelight all her life and is comfortable behind a camera. I mean, I agree with that. Are you good, Clint? Oh, I can't hear you. No.
I was muted.
There you
Am I
go.
good now?
Yeah, now we
All right.
we got you.
Yeah, sorry, just to clarify. Look, I'll grant she's a star fucker. Like, she wants to be famous more than anything, right?
Right.
Like, that's very obvious. She's doing reality TV, and she's homie hopping to professional athletes, and she's going to Charlie Kirk because he's building this empire. Like, she's definitely a climber, right?
Yeah.
But it's still a different thing to go from, like, I'm a reality TV person and I'm the wife of Charlie Kirk, to, like, I am in the limelight 24/7, 365. And I'm also the CEO of a multi-$100 million, if not $1 billion,
Correct.
get out the vote operation, and probably really a professional foreign intel propaganda arm. Like, it's a lot of pressure. So that's the reason I'm saying I never wanted to jump to the conclusion that she was involved in the actual murder, because that's just a lot. It's a lot to put on someone's shoulders, and you just don't know how they would react. Even if, like, sometimes people want to be famous, and then once they get really famous and they have the critical eye of fame hit them, they go, like, they wilt. And I feel like, to a certain extent, that's what's happened with her. Or maybe she's guilty of all sorts of terrible things. I just don't know.
Yeah, I agree that, like, the things that she had done, most of the things either had a script for her to read, like whether that's that November Renaissance movie that I don't know that anyone's seen, but we saw like trailers for it and stuff. And
Right.
that was filmed at Fort Huachuca, or her CIA EMP documentary that she did. She did some other like, it's like Entertainment Tonight kind of hosting, where it's like pop culture and things like that. And then, yeah, she tried out for Amazing Race with JT Massey. And then she was on that dating summer nights show in the Hamptons, and actually finished her episode and went and met Charlie Kirk at Bob's Burgers. She went straight from the Hamptons filming of that to the Bob Burgers, which is crazy. So yeah, I agree that she didn't have this kind of experience. And
No.
though she saw Charlie do what he did, he had honed his skill and his, expertise on this, like, over years. Like, if you watch his early stuff, he was always talented and well-spoken, but, like,
Not like this, though.
Correct.
He was, I'll just be honest, as who's been in this business for 6 years now. Charlie Kirk sucked.
He was
18.
awkward.
He was not very good.
Yeah.
He was, like, just my personal opinion, he was an awkward kid, right? He was like 25 years old. Like, I'm not even talking shit. I'm not, like, hating on him. I'm just saying, like, he wasn't very good. He wasn't a very compelling speaker. You watch Charlie Kirk on the campaign trail in 24. Ooh, that's a different beast, dude. That's a guy who's locked in. That's a guy who has dedicated the last 6 to 10 years of his life, just like, I'm going to be what I,
the best.
The best, what I envision for myself. So all I'm saying is, Erika wasn't that. No. She wasn't reading, as you said, 200 books a year and, just grinding nonstop and debating professionally nonstop in the public eye like that. Charlie was sharpening himself like iron, right?
100%.
So, all I'm saying is, like, anybody that expect her to step into his shoes, it was an impossible task, even if she wasn't, such a pretty transparently duplicitous human being. So, it was going to be impossible regardless, but she just made it like a big problem.
I think Baron Coleman said it really well, and I agree that, like, I don't know, like, we wouldn't be in a lot of the situation that we're in if immediately after the assassination, she did what, like, Jackie O did, or other, well-known widows, and just went away somewhere, and just didn't take over the organization in 48 hours and decided to go through the whole first year of this, what should be a grieving process that lasts a lifetime. But you just go through stages at different times, and you hit it, the lengths of which you're in each stage, which, by the way, she doesn't even know that there's 5 stages to grief. So at the CLS conference, she said that there's 7 stages, by the way.
I think she was thinking, surprised she didn't go with 12-step for alcoholism. Oh,
She
man.
also she said that she read a Grief Observed by C.S. Lewis, who wrote this book about his wife that had passed away, and she goes, I read it, and she's like, I couldn't relate.
Oh, man.
And
I
I
mean,
was like,
she's just a PR nightmare. But the crazy thing is like then their top PR guy, Andrew Colvett, is doing what I think is arguably the most like malpractice public relations thing you can do, which is sit in on your boss's show and then lying about his legacy and lying about the trial and lying about the evidence and lying and lying and lying and lying. It's just like, I mean, this is just such a PR disaster. But I'll just be straight with you. Like, that's the reason that I feel as if there's a decent chance that they are fearful for their lives. Like,
well, so
if I'm Andrew Colvett, I'll just be straight. Like, I'm quitting. I'm going into the woods. I'm done. Like, I recognize that I've completely destroyed any chance I have at a future political career. I'm out of here, dude. It's over. But he's not. He's sticking around. He's cashing them checks. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he's just driven by money and fame and he thinks this is going to work out in the end for him. Delusional as fuck if you're asking me. But it comes across like these people don't have a choice. But maybe I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt and I shouldn't. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Like, are they that bad at this? Like, could they really? Could all of them?
Yeah.
But I mean, like, could they not reevaluate at some part of this? Like, now we're at like 11 months and they're still doing the same things. They're still like hitting themselves in the face with, they're stepping on the garden rake,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
They keep putting their foot in the mouth. They keep allowing Erika to go out there and do these speeches, which completely hit like totally differently than they act like they do. It almost seems like they're deliberately doing this, and I can't figure out why.
No, I don't think it's deliberate, dude. I think that they just suck. I honestly do. I mean, I just to steelman your side of the argument. What would be the value of doing this so poorly? Like it seems like they're trying their best. I just think that they're in an untenable position because so much of the information that's been released thanks to Candace Owens has just demonstrated them to be duplicitous time and time again. And now the broader public despises them because they, some people view them as having been involved in the murder. People like me view them as being, I don't know, complicit or at least deceptive about it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, they're doomed, dude. I don't know how you recover. If I'm them, I'm never in that position because I would never lie in the aftermath of a murder. And they did. And I don't know why they did it. But if I'm them, I'm quitting and I am absolutely getting out of the public eye forever and ever and ever. And the fact that they don't, I mean, I guess there's two reads on it. Either they can't because their lives are on the line, or they're involved. I don't know what other conclusion you can come to. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that at a certain point they had dug their feet in so deep on their stance that it became impossible for them to course correct and actually like do anything other than what they've been doing. Like, because they've defended this like so hard, so badly, that now we're 11 months down the line. We're almost to the anniversary, which pisses me off that like we're almost to a year and like I don't feel like we have. Well, I mean, like, we've definitely gotten more answers from people like Baron Coleman or, Candace Owens and other people that have done stuff on X and that, Candace and Baron have shared on their show. But I feel like that they're screwed now. They, at some point they could have maybe turned the ship around, but.
Well, look, maybe I don't know. I'm the type that always gives people the benefit of the doubt. So I'll say the same thing I said to Andrew Colvett 6 months ago. The offer still stands. Tell the truth, dude. It's never too late to be honest. Like,
I agree with that.
That's how I feel about it. Like, you can come out and you can blow the whistle on all this. You can say, look, I completely understand why people think Israel was involved. I thought it too. In the immediate aftermath, I reflected because he did. But he could just come out and say, I thought it too. I reflected on it. I screenshot those things. I sent them off to JD Vance. It ended up in Joe Kent's lap, and the Joe Kent is forced to resign because he's threatened with prosecution because of these leaks and blah, blah, blah. And look, it all bothers me. But at the end of the day, I don't know what it amounts to. Like he could just come out there and
That's
say that.
true. That's
and
true.
I'd be like, that's fucking compelling, dude. Like now you're back on my team almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd still be like, where was this for 11 months, obviously, but yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they're so pot committed. Look, I think this is my honest opinion about TPUSA at this point is like, it's an intel operation itself.
100%.
Right? So it's kind of like almost like the mob, like blood in, blood out. Like
yes.
you just don't leave, right?
Yes. That's actually what movie from the early 90s is that gang movie?
I think it was called Blood In, Blood Out, wasn't it? Or was that just
right.
a line from the movie? I don't know. Maybe.
Well, it's definitely a line from the movie, but it actually may be the name of the
title
movie
too.
too.
I don't know.
It may be.
I saw the movie when I was a kid, though.
Yeah. What's hard for me with that whole thing is that it seems that Erika Kirk had been the one feeding Andrew information, like the whole, Superman neck of steel that Andrew said was from Lee Trotter, the surgeon. Like we come to find out, like that's a total lie. It actually was Erika who was on the phone with the surgeon and Andrew. So I mean, it's hard for me. I don't know. I guess it really does. Freaking A. It's hard for me to understand which one is like running the show, if any of them are, and they're all just like completely afraid for their lives, like you're pointing out is definitely possible.
That's what I'm saying. I can't read it for sure. All I know is that they're not being forthright, and I don't appreciate that. But it changes the dynamic tremendously if they're lying because they're covering up their own malfeasance, or if they're lying because they want to stay alive, right? Like I have sympathy for the latter. I have nothing but absolutely vicious anger for the former.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know how to feel, but I don't like it either way.
100%.
I just don't know how bad it is, really.
Because if it is not some, crazy trans leftist group that was like radicalized online and they just pulled off this assassination, of our lifetime between, however many are involved. But really, it seems that like parts of our intel agencies who Charlie was calling out, like he was saying on Tucker Carlson in August that was one of the biggest threats to our democracy, and that supposedly like Trump and Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, that was like one of the things that they were going to do when they got in there. That the intel agencies, including Mossad, because like all the intel agencies, especially ours and Israel's, like are the same. They like feed each other information and intel.
Eyes. Yeah, the Five Eyes are like the same. Just basically the global surveillance intelligence assets.
Which like all was kind of created post World War II.
Yep.
When the
and
formation
also post the formation of Israel too, yeah.
Yes, exactly. When Israel was formed and OSS turned into CIA and Mossad was created, it like this whole system of control that we've been under like literally came into fruition like right after World War II. But I think that
don't you dare question World War II history, sir. That would be an anti-Semitism. Don't you dare do that.
It's so crazy because I do question so much of it, dude.
Yeah, well, you don't have any choice but to, because there's nothing but deception. Deception abounds. It's everywhere, and you have every reason to. We've been lied into every war in our lifetimes, but we can't question the narratives about World War II. Get out of my face with that. Like. We know that wars are based off of lies, almost always. In fact, 100%. I would argue always.
100%.
And then the history books are written by the victors too. So it's like, yeah, obviously it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie going in, and it's a lie decades after the fact.
Yep.
So you ought to be questioning it.
Have you know of the book by Smedley Butler, War is a Racket?
Yep.
When you look,
I'm a libertarian, brother. Of course I know that.
Okay.
Damn near quote it.
Yeah. I mean, I was in the Marine Corps. It was like mandatory reading one year for us NCOs. So, what a great book. If you haven't read it, go read it. But then you like look at like Pearl Harbor, not what it is, what they tell us it is. Like we had foreknowledge about it. It is the thing that like got us into a war that we weren't supposed to be involved in. Without it, don't know that we would have got involved at all.
And they would have lost that war had we not been sucked into it. And I might add, we also embargoed Japan to provoke that attack. I mean, you got to understand, Japan's an island, ladies and gentlemen. If you put an oil embargo on Japan for an extended period of time, what do you think they're going to do? Take it?
That's death to their country.
Exactly. So they're like, no
choice. Yeah.
And yes, we had foreknowledge, and yes, we almost certainly allowed it to happen. So,
Same with the Gulf of Tonkin, and 9/11, all of the modern wars that I know of, the whole story in which why we got involved, why we were there, all is a lie. So, I mean, and this one's no different. So,
yeah. Well, and then so we've already gone through all the wars. Add to that the modern wars. Ukraine war was a lie. That was a CIA operation from the Maidan Revolution.
yep.
And Russia was basically had its hand forced. We had expanded NATO all the way up to the border. That was actually my first claim to fame, was a very viral clip of me unpacking the history of NATO expansion when I was on Timcast. And then the Iran war is obviously a bullshit lie. I mean, it couldn't be more obvious. Do I even need to explain? Like, we obliterated their nuclear facilities a year ago today almost, and it's like, and now we have to go to war to stop them from getting nukes. And it's like, and also, by the way, 80% of goods that were transmitted through the Strait of Hormuz prior to the war beginning were being sold in US dollar, which means that it already defended the petrodollar system, because that's what the petrodollar system is.
Yep.
But then we had to go in there so that Iran doesn't have control over the Strait of Hormuz. It's like, that's rewinding 9 months or 7 months. Like, why did we start the war?
None of it makes sense.
Well, it makes sense when you realize that it's about the Greater Israel Project. That
True.
Once you go down that line of thinking, all of this makes sense. Actually.
That's true.
The Iraq War, all of it makes sense. So, but that's an anti-Semitism. So be very careful about talking about it.
What's that professor? His name is like Professor Yang. Have you watched any of his videos?
I'm sure I've seen a few.
He's done a lot of stuff on this, and like, if the official story as to why we're there, you just throw that out, then so much of this actually makes sense when you look at like the Greater Israel Project and some of the already the outcomes that have already kind of happened, clearly benefit Israel so much more than we haven't benefited at all.
No,
at all.
Not at all. I mean, I actually had Trita Parsi on my show a couple of days ago, and he's this Iranian Swedish writer and really a geopolitical expert. And he unpacked that for me, because I was asking in good faith. I was like, dude, I know you're honest, so like, just give me a real, even if it doesn't benefit the American people, give me a geopolitical explanation as to why this benefits us strategically for our empire. Any angle you can see that's actually a specific direct American benefit, not the American people, but the whatever, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, doesn't exist. It's like, there is no fucking benefit to the American people, to the American empire. It is all downside, brother. The Iran war is all downside. There is one nation that benefits, and we all know who it is. And if you talk about it, it's an anti-Semitism. So you better be very careful about that.
What's crazy too is Charlie was very outspoken about this. He wasn't supporting Trump when they decided to bomb the nuclear sites. He said, "I'm going to trust them on this," because he like knew them and they guaranteed him that this would be it. But if you go back and like watch some of the shows from 2025 that summer. Yep. He didn't even want that to happen, but as long as it was promised that, they had clear objectives and like a mission complete, like no boots on the ground, we're just flying over, we're bombing these 3 sites and we're out of there and that's it. He's like, I'm willing to trust them. And then he goes, however, and so did Blake Neff, Andrew Colvett, Jack Posobiec, and his and Tyler Boyer as well, because they go on like Thought Crime together. They all said like, if this goes a step further at all, talk about regime change, anything further than that limited strike on the nuclear sites.
We're out.
That's
Yep.
And so I don't, yeah. I mean, Charlie's not there anymore. And so it's like we were saying, it's either they're afraid for their lives. I mean, Tyler Boyer, though, I think is just a total corrupt individual. So I don't know that he's afraid of anything.
And I've had Joe Ken on my show, and I asked him about that, and I asked him about the meeting with Charlie in the White House in the West Wing. He saw him there, and they, according to reports not just from Joe Kent but elsewhere, Charlie Kirk was in the White House for 2 days straight. He was trying desperately, and this was not to prevent a ground invasion per se.
Correct.
This was to prevent the initial strikes against the nuclear facilities.
Correct.
He was telling Trump, that was enough to blow up the coalition. You are risking everything. You're risking your second term, your domestic policy. You'll be impeached. It's over. You'll lose the midterms. You'll lose everything. Like Charlie was putting it all on the line, dude, in a way that he really didn't have to. But he was being honest. He told the truth. And for me, I wish I had known that when he was still alive, so I could have thanked him, because that took real fucking balls.
Yep.
And 2 months later, he's dead. And 4 months after that, a very significant war breaks out between America and Iran. It hasn't become a ground invasion yet, and I hope it doesn't go there. But and then to have Joe Kent tell me, straight to my face that like Charlie told him straight to his face, do not let them do this.
Yeah.
And guess who else is out of the Trump administration now? It would be Joe Kent.
Yeah.
So there's one tie that binds as to whether or not you are in the good graces of Trump and his administration, or if you are not, if you are on the outs. MTG, Thomas Massie, Joe Kent, Charlie Kirk, all of them were not full on 24/7 Israel Zionist psychopaths. And they're all gone, resigned, kicked out of office, dozens of millions of dollars spent against them, like Thomas Massie.
Yep.
MTG resigned because she knew she was going to get the same treatment as Massie.
Yep.
I mean, sorry, folks, but like, if you can see that and still go, oh, this foreign government doesn't have way too much influence over our political apparatus, like, I don't know what you're seeing. Like, it's so transparent and on its face, egregious and insulting. And this is why I get so mad about people like Tim Pool, who I know wants to be able to see what I see, but he won't say a fucking word about it. And I'm like, what's happening?
What do you think about, do you think it's possible for Joe Kent, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie, who am I missing out that was at the round table, Tucker Carlson, you think it's possible to start a third party?
Well,
that will actually have a chance against these two.
Yeah. I mean, it is possible because, 40+% of the American people register as independents. They don't believe that either of the parties actually represent them.
Correct.
The problem is that most of the people in that 40+% don't even vote. Like, they've just given up.
Yeah.
They've totally given up. And that includes the libertarians, which is really sad, because that's my camp. And I would love to see them voting, even though I know that I understand why they don't, because they feel like it's just lesser of two evils and blah, blah, blah. But from my vantage point, like, this would be the only opportunity in my lifetime that wouldn't be a lesser of two evils. This would be Thomas effing Massie. Thomas Massie is as good as it gets. He's the Ron Paul of this generation. He is like the guy. So that's my hope. My hope is that Tucker Carlson is for real. That's still TBD. Maybe he's just some Palantir, Peter Thiel pet who's going to ultimately end up boosting JD Vance. I don't know. I hope not. I had Buckley Carlson, his brother, on my show, so I really don't want that to be the case. I want to believe in Tucker. I do. But maybe he will. Maybe he'll prove himself to be a fraud, or maybe he will marshal his incredible reach and his incredible audience size, and they will create a bipartisan push to get behind a guy like Thomas Massie, a guy who I think, if there's anybody in my lifetime who's got a chance to break the duopoly, it's that dude. Now, I'm not saying he's got a good chance. I'm not saying it's probabilistic. Right. I'm saying he's got a chance, and we've never had a chance. So I think it's worth trying.
Yeah, it stuck out to me too when you were talking about when you were making your decision on where to vote at the last, with Trump. It's like a lot of us have done this, where it's like we are picking the lesser of two evils. We sometimes we're voting so they don't get in, not because we really believe this person's going to be the best.
I think it's 80% of the time we're voting against what we really fear. We're not voting for what we really want.
Yeah. Yeah. And it'd be nice for once to actually vote for a candidate because you 100% believe in them and that they're going to actually do what they say they're going to do.
That's the hope. That's the dream. And I just think, Tucker's reach is extraordinary. It really is. I mean, he's the biggest guy in the game, and that's without, a nightly news show or cable or, any positive coverage at all. I mean, he's just constantly lambasted throughout the corporate news. So protect Tucker at all costs. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it. And protect Buckley while you're at it. I love that dude. And I just hope that MTG is also an interesting figure. I don't particularly trust her. She's not really in my camp. She's not like a true blue libertarian by any stretch, but I respect anybody that's got the courage to like really buck the authorities and come out and tell it how they think it is, and she's shown more cojones than Trump has by a mile.
100%.
So I respect that. And then Joe Kent, I mean, goodness gracious, what he did after losing his wife in Syria in a war that Donald Trump should have already ended. And allegedly he had told the generals to withdraw, and they lied to him about the troop counts. And then his wife got, in those intervening months. I can't even imagine, being that dude. And then to get director of counterterrorism, only to, see your friend Charlie Kirk get got, and then to be frozen out of the investigation from your other friend Kash Patel over at the FBI. And you're like, wait, I'm the director of counterterrorism. There was a high-profile political assassination in our country. We have no idea if this wasn't terrorism. Like this could. The obvious assessment ought to be that terrorism is definitely on the table here, right? It's a public, brutal murder of a political figure. Like that's almost definitional terrorism. And they're just like, Joe Kent, we don't need you. Get out of here. So anyways, my point with saying all that is the arc of Joe Kent is a pretty remarkable one.
I agree.
And I think having him in the mix with those other three really gives reason for some optimism. And I know libertarians get pissed at me when I say that, because they're like, don't give me any hope, Clint. Everything is doomed and we have no chance. But I'm like, look, it's rare that I see any political hope at all.
Yeah.
And I have a lot more reason to be optimistic about Thomas Massie than I ever did about Donald Trump.
Yeah. Did Buckley say that like him or Tucker were actually going to like be in the administration? Tucker said he has no political aspirations at all. Are the people that were there at that meeting all planning on, I don't know, like having a role in a future administration, or they're just this new possible coalition to help a third party get created?
Your guess is as good as mine, man.
Yeah. Okay.
I think, honestly, I think they're all massively burnt out. Like the black pilling.
Dude.
What's that?
I bet.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think they're like my libertarian brethren. They're black pilled as all get out, right? They've all just been, publicly lambasted and dragged through the mud and unceremoniously thrown out of office or removed from power. And I think that they're really bitter and they're really jaded. And I love that, because I am too. I want people that feel like me, but like love this country, love the Constitution, love freedom, love property rights, love free speech, love privacy. I want those people to be fired up, engaged, and ready to rock. And like, maybe that's what we're looking at. I know it's very in vogue to never have faith in anybody, but I'm looking at those four and I'm like, that's as close to the, to my political worldview as I've seen. Or they could be the four horsemen of the apocalypse, but TBD. I don't know.
Oh, I hope not. With everything,
I really don't think so. For the record, I lean towards them being for real. That's my
and you've met Joe Kent. He's been on your show. You've spoken with him, and same with like Buckley and even for
Massie too. Yeah.
Oh, he's been on your show too?
No, but I've met him a couple times.
I mean, even for me, I haven't met any of them, but like, I think you watch enough of them. And I don't know if this is a dangerous thing to do, is ever think that you have a good feeling as to what a person is just based on what you see.
It's really hard.
Yeah. But we see them in so many different contexts. It's not like I'm only watching Tucker on his show. Like you're watching him do many different interviews in different settings with different people over decades, and with Joe Kent.
You can see the evolution of Tucker too, which is what makes me trust in him.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree. And he's publicly admitted into the areas in which he was wrong. Like he felt so guilty that he supported 9/11 that he did a 5-part series. Literally, I don't know if you've seen his 5-part series on 9/11. Phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, he didn't support 9/11. He supported the war on terror, but I get your point.
That's what I mean. Sorry.
if Tucker Carlson supported 9/11, then I am going to start calling him Tucker Carlson, and Laura Loomer's right about everything. I'm kidding, obviously.
Oh my gosh.
She's right about nothing ever.
Bro.
I I've met her too, and she's really nice in person, but man, is she a lunatic on the internet. My God.
I mean, I think you've met her once or what?
Yeah, just once at a house party. But I hung out with
Yeah.
her for like a couple hours, and she seemed fine. And then I see her online, and I'm like, "What are you,
Bro, did you see her recent interview with like News Nation where she said she wants to replace Lindsey Graham?
Oh, I didn't see that one. I saw the one where she said she wants to assassinate Vladimir Putin. I was like,
Well, yes.
wow.
Because she just interviewed Zelensky in Ukraine.
Yeah, I know, dude. I know. I mean, this is dark. I just thought it's just a thought that popped to mind, but I think that the powers that be wanted Charlie Kirk to be Laura Loomer. They wanted him to be just like straight up mercenary. They wanted him to be like the affable boy next door.
Yes.
Who just lied through his teeth.
Yes.
And just dragged us into wars. And I think that at the end of the day, Charlie was capable of minor deception.
Right.
But he wasn't capable of overt deception the way someone like Loomer is, you know? And I think that's the thing that you learn both in the political game and in the media game, which I've kind of been in both. I've kind of had, both hats from time to time, is that there really is no place, at least amongst the power brokers, there is no place for truth tellers. Like they don't want you, dude.
No, zero.
Like, you're a problem. They try and get rid of you as soon as possible. As soon as they realize that you can't be bought, they're like, this dude's a problem. And unfortunately for them, I had a very successful career before I got into this, and I am that dude. You can't buy me, dude. I am in this to wreck shit. I want to upset the apple cart. I'm not here to get a paycheck. So good luck. And I think Tucker's in the same boat. Tucker's now just so uber successful that like he doesn't need to sell out. He doesn't need to do any like deranged.
Same with
evil
Candace.
shit.
Yep. Same
He's
with like
raking it in. Aaron Coleman, Ian Carroll, Dave Smith.
Yep.
They all make a mint doing what they do. So I mean, you could buy them off if they were scumbags, because you could offer them 10x what they already get, which is very significant. But I think most of them are, the reason that they got to the heights that they did is because at their core they are interested in honesty.
Yeah.
And audiences sniff that out.
100%.
I think that's what made Joe Rogan as big as he was, and why his reputation has taken a hit recently, is that he got too close to power. And he started to embrace it, the Teals of the world and the JD Vances and Donald Trump himself. Yeah. And I think that's a very dangerous path to go down. And actually, I learned this lesson from Julian Dory when he had me on his show. He's like, I never have politicians on.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting outlook. Because I'm a more overtly political show, it just seemed like natural. Yeah, of course, if Joe Kent or MTG or Thomas Massey want to come on my show, I'm going to have them on. But then when he said that, I was like, that's actually probably a good point, because I had Vivek Ramaswamy on my show, year and a half, like back in 24, a couple times. And I liked him a lot. We had good, personal relationship. I went out to South Dakota, did Timcast IRL, and I was basically on his campaign trail. I wasn't being compensated for it, like most of these fucking water carrying hacks are. I was just doing it because I thought it was interesting. Yeah. And because I got invited out to do Timcast. But like, once you spend a lot of time with a guy, especially a really charismatic politician, which Vivek Ramaswamy is, the truth. Especially if you meet him in person, he's just like gleaming, he's like just charisma machine. It's just really hard. It's really hard to then, like, it's not that you're not being honest about them. It's just that you want to believe the best about them. And that's how I felt about Vivek.
Do you think too that like when you have proximity to people like that and they're like either on your show, like people start to conflate them with you and associate the two?
I mean, I'm sure that's true, especially if I give them, a very jovial interview. And sometimes it is true, like, I'll just be honest. Like, once I had Joe Ken on my show and we talked, especially at the end when he said, I've been listening to Liberty Lockdown for years. I was like, oh, you're my homeboy.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah, dude. At the very end, he said that. And I was like, wait, we had the director of counterterrorism listening to motherfucking cool. Liberty Lockdown. Like, you got to be kidding me, bro. But I didn't take it as an ego boost. I took it as like, oh, this dude's for real. Like, he's got my worldview and he was at that high level of power. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's the main, I guess, I guess it still is egotistical because I perceive my worldview to be the correct one, but like it's my worldview, so obviously I feel that way. We all do, right?
Yeah.
So when you have someone like Joe Kent say it, I'm listening to your shit, you're like, this dude's in savage. Like this dude's definitely legit. Still doesn't mean that he is. Maybe some intel asset that was told, just flatter this guy and say, you've been listening to his show. Like, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. Hey, it's 3 hours ahead at your time. We've been doing this for 2 hours. Let me get through some of these super chats and then I'll let you go. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Because there's some questions here for a couple of us together. All right. So on anniversary approaching, do you guys
Sorry, I read ahead. Go ahead.
You're good. On anniversary approaching, do you guys expect more fake emotional display from TPUSA and Sparkles?
I mean, yeah, obviously. I will say, I'd be surprised if they do like some anniversary WWE entrance, event. I think they recognize that sat really poorly with the public. But yeah, I think that they'll probably do like an anniversary show on his program, and maybe they'll have Erika come in because she's kind of been under the radar for a while. I don't know. Honestly, I don't even care about them anymore. Like to me, that's less interesting than the actual investigation, even though they may play a role in it. I don't know, but their behavior is just so fucking bizarre. I don't know what to make of it. And I don't think I'm going to learn anything from watching their 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
Televangelist experience.
Do you remember when Erika was asked about the burial, like his burial site? It was with that one, it was on the morning show. I forget what the lady's name is. And then she's like, can I have just one thing? Can we have just one thing to ourselves? Can me and my kids have one thing? And then she goes on to say that she's building this like beautiful memorial. It's going to be so great for our Charlie, my Charlie. I have a feeling that they've been working on that, and that's probably going to be coming out near the anniversary, or at least something like that they're going to be doing something, like you said, very in their eyes special to memorialize him. And
hopefully no Sparkles though.
I don't know. They don't seem to learn their lesson from like previous failures. So
no,
we'll see.
They don't seem to.
In October 2023 on PBD, Charlie also stated that Israel was on the brink of civil war and Bibi was in deep trouble, therefore blood sacrificed of innocents. Yeah, I mean, definitely did you see Bibi Files? Like they did a full-on documentary on Amazon, Ian Carroll. That's how I found out about it. He was being investigated.
Yeah, that's all true.
Yeah.
I mean, but I knew about that even before Charlie was talking about it. I mean, not that I'm trying to take claim of it or anything, but like, yeah, it was well known. It's very well known that Bibi Netanyahu's political career was in dire straits. And then there was like major, not even protests, but like borderline riots that were happening right before October 7th. So I still don't know that that's the reason it was catalyzed. Like, I think it's just as explicable that this was about the Greater Israel Project and it was a false flag that was strictly utilized to justify ethnic cleansing of Gaza, because that's kind of been the game plan. And then I think that getting rid of Biden and getting Trump in there and compromising him with however and whatever they've utilized to get him completely, in bed with the devil is like, that was the final step that they needed. They needed October 7th, they needed to ethnically cleanse Gaza, and then they needed a total yes man in the White House that would assist them in taking out the Ayatollah. And then also, obviously, they needed to take Syria, which they did. They needed to badly damage Hezbollah, which they have done, but they haven't still prevailed in Lebanon. So, I think it's kind of a mixed bag as to how successful they've been. But when you consider the fact that, like, they're a very small country that is a very small population of people, and they have basically successfully subdued the entire Muslim neighborhood around them, which constitutes like over 1 billion people, is mind-blowing.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a very long rant.
No, that was good. I was thinking of something, and then I hate it when it happens. I don't know if it happens to you, and then I forget what I was going to say.
It happens all the time.
Zamet says, you'll succeed when you provide the elixir of truth Americans thirst for.
That's correct.
Yep.
I strongly believe that.
Yeah. Sisters Honda, to witness Charlie Kirk's inner circle in real time after his
Death,
deletion.
probably. Huh? I assume it means death. I don't know.
Yeah. Actually witnessing, realizing, sadly, witness friends come out of the closet, bold man worshippers, ill-spirited liars, devious, go Max. Did I mess that up? Did I mess that up?
She's just rattling off a bunch of descriptors of these folks. And
all right.
I think
Thank you for that.
Fairly accurate.
Yes. Mystic. So Mystic's one of my mods. Thank you, Mystic. It's an honor and privilege to have you as our VIP guest tonight, Clint. Thanks so much for being here. Everyone, please follow and subscribe to the Liberty Lockdown. The link's in the chat. Also, I have it here as well. So, yeah, this is Clint's page on YouTube. Come over, hit subscribe. And when it does, then you also click it again and click the all so that you actually get the notifications that you want to.
Thank you. I never tell people to do that. I appreciate that. And another good reason to do it is because I post my shit whenever I want, day or night, random as hell. So if you don't hit the bell, you'll never know. You'll never know.
And you want to check it continually, actually. Like there's a lot of people here that like don't get notifications, and like YouTube does weird things and like unsubscribes you or changes your notification setting.
All the time.
So, and I know that they have that ability because they have the ability to determine if someone's a bot that's subscribed to you, and they unsubscribe bots. So they obviously have the capability to do it. So
no doubt.
9/9/2025, Israel wipes out Hamas lighters.
I assume it means gliders.
Gliders in Doha and Qatar. Yeah.
I don't. Maybe it meant something other than gliders. I don't know. Israel wipes out Hamas gliders in Doha, Qatar. I mean, Hamas isn't in Qatar, so I'm lost.
Zamet, when you pay that much, you're allowed to write more. You can write so much more. Zamet's awesome though. Let's see. We got the Real One podcast. Sup, Matt. Sup, Clint. Matt, we need to do another stream. And Clint, I'm looking forward to doing one with you after the first of the year. Thanks to both of you.
Oh yeah, he reached out to me a couple days ago. I've got a crazy harebrained scheme. My lease is up in Miami, so I'm doing this cruise with Tom Woods and Scott Horton out from Boston to Canada. Then I get back to Boston at the end of August, and then I'm going to not move, but I'm going to have my car with me because I'm putting on the Amtrak that allows you to put your car in there.
Yeah.
It's crazy harebrained scheme. But I am then spending a month in Brooklyn, and Julian Dory, Dave Smith, Robbie the Fire have all confirmed they're going to do my show in person, which will be fun. And even Julian Dory is such a dope son of a bitch. He said that I could use his super elite studio to record my own show. I was like, man, I love all these people. I just keep finding cooler and cooler people. And then October, I'm going to spend it like at the Ozarks, Missouri, because I've always wanted to do that. And then I'm going to go to Lake Travis in Austin for November. So if anybody is watching right now and you want to see me collab with someone that I'm not familiar with, drop my name in their hat so they know I'm coming to town.
For sure. Man, it's so cool that like, so some of these people that like I've watched forever. So like, Julian Dory, Danny Jones, Dave Smith, and I can only imagine that. I mean, for me, I've watched, like I said, I don't know if this is dangerous to do, but enough of them over the years with so many different guests, but they're the same, that they're, that they're just down to earth like they are in person.
Well, this is, I mean, honestly, that's the main reason that I have some faith in Tucker Carlson, is because I have enough experience like watching and listening to people for a long time and then becoming their personal friend. And I have found that like my ability to decipher and figure out like their true spirit is almost like 100%. Like, Dave Smith, I was a huge fan of Dave Smith from 2016, 17, like the first time he was on Joe Rogan, when I was a mortgage broker in San Diego playing beach volleyball all the time. And I never thought I would even meet Dave Smith. And then by 2021, he's on my show, and by 22, we're like good personal friends, and we've been
That's
friends
so cool, dude.
for 5 years now. And I'm just telling you, like, he's as real as it gets. Like, he's 100% legit. He just talks a lot more in person than you probably would imagine. But other than that, like, he's exactly what you expect. Julian, I mean, I've only met him once in person, but as far as I could tell, we've talked on the phone a bunch since, we've texted a bunch, and we did that long conversation in person, and I just think he's totally legit too. So anyways, point being, oftentimes, because especially the long form podcasting, it's just really hard to be duplicitous.
Yes.
Like, it's just really hard, because you would slip up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my read on both those guys. I think Julian and Dave are as real as they get. And my prayer is that Tucker Carlson is too. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, but you don't have to answer if it's too personal, because I'm from Oceanside. Did you grow up in like San Diego?
Yeah. Carlsbad, yeah.
Shut up. Wait, how old are you?
43.
All right. I just turned 41 yesterday. So, I mean, like, when I saw you initially, like years ago, I was like, bro, this guy looks so familiar. But I mean, yeah, so I grew up in Vista and Oceanside. And
yeah, dude. Well, we were same broad generation demographic, whatever. So
yeah.
I was going to say, you look familiar to me too, but you look like almost all the Marines that
I mean, that's true. Like, even though I grew up there, like, I ended up getting stationed at Camp Pendleton, so I didn't really go anywhere. But actually, we're in California right now. We came out to visit my family for my birthday, and we're down in La Costa. So,
nice.
Yeah.
I played beach volleyball on Carlsbad.
Moonlight?
It wasn't Moonlight. I always forget what they called it. It was basically right at the end of Carlsbad Village Drive. There's those 3 nets that are set up.
Oh yeah,
I would play there 12 hours a week for years and years. Best years of my life. Well, it's very hard to judge. These years have been very interesting and very cool too.
For sure.
But those years were very special.
Yeah.
You've got this like 20-man crew of volleyball killers. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, let me get to a couple more, and then I'm going to let you go. Wait, did I read the one above it? Yeah, I did. All right. So Rooted Mountain Live, just wanted to show some support. What is the best way to support the Black Line Brief? If YouTube takes a certain % of super chats, BLB definitely needs to have Clint as a regular guest. I'll just say that here, I'll post this real quick. You guys can either donate through Buy Me a Coffee, buymeacoffee.com/the Black Line Brief, or you guys can donate through the Black Line Brief Venmo account if you don't want to give to YouTube. But I mean, I don't know about anyone being a regular guest, especially when they have their own show. But I mean,
yeah, it's just hard to do.
Yeah,
but definitely. I appreciate the invite, though.
Always will have the invite extended out there, but I'm sure that I'll talk with Clint down the line, and we'll do something again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. We got one more, and it is Mystic after BLB show. Oh, she's doing an X Space tonight. So if you guys are going to be awake, go to X, and Mystic's doing an X Space. And last one is a great show tonight, Matt. Thanks for the visit, Clint. I chose the perfect night to pop in. You sure did, sweet Sassy. I hadn't seen you in a while. So good to see you, and thank you for the super
Welcome
chat.
back. All
right, Clint. Thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Of course, man. Anytime. Well, I can't say anytime because I'm going to be traveling a lot, but
for sure.
We'll run it back for sure. I mean, especially when the trial, God willing, we get to the trial.
Yeah.
That kid stays alive, but I'm like a dog with a bone on this one. I'm not letting go. I'm not as vicious as Candace, but I absolutely want to make sure that we do our best to try and get justice here, because it matters a lot, man. Not just for Charlie and not just for his family, but for the country,
all of us.
The fate of the world, justice, truth, everything.
100%. Yep. All right, man. Thank you so much, dude.
Absolutely. Have a good night, guys.
All right, you guys. Now I'm going to get to a couple of the other ones that I didn't get to with Clint. These were just some of the presents. Because he's on the East Coast, you guys. So it's like, what is it? 11:15 his time. So I wanted to be respectful of his time. Thank you so much, Crystal, for the 10 jewels. We got HD15. Thank you so much for the 440 jewels. And then we got Jean. Thank you for the silver star. Fluffany. Thank you for the jammin'. And then we got Sweet Bean, thank you for the 200 joules. And for the Sunshine Sweet Bean, thank you so much. Let's see, we got Earls, my Pearl. Earls, I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Thank you for the Stay Hydrated. And Earls, my Pearl again. Thank you for the Unk Alert. We got a golden coin from Earls, my Pearl. Thank you so much. And again, oh no, here we got Stacy Rodriguez, the Finger Heart. And I think that is it. All right, you guys. I haven't said this one time tonight, but if you haven't done so, please do me a favor. Let's see, right there. Can you guys do me a favor and hit the like and the subscribe? It is the best way to support this channel. Also, my cameras or my video, oh my gosh, dude, my computers that I'm able to watch everything on is down here, and my camera's like way up here. So I apologize if the majority of the show tonight I'm like looking at the screen, but it's the way I could like watch Clint and like stay on task, on track. You do the best you can with the hotel room that you got. Definitely a better setup tonight than it was last night. I was so uncomfortable last night. Tonight was a lot better. So, but we'll be back to our normal routine on Saturday. Tomorrow's a travel day for me, so I won't be able to stream at all tomorrow. But Saturday night, and I have some really good shows lined up with some special guests as well. Stu Peters and Matthew Tutoroni are going to be coming on. Also, there's this guy, Mason, that used to work at TPUSA that I'm going to be having on. And then I'm going to be doing a conversation with Josh Carr, who is not on the same side that we're on when it comes to the official narrative and the Charlie Kirk assassination and the Tyler Robinson investigation. So that will be an interesting conversation. It's not going to be a debate, but it's definitely going to be a honest conversation where we are going to get to push back on one another. I want it to be productive, but I also want the communities to feel, like this isn't just some, like a personal attack on one another and one another's community, because his community is going to be watching, our community is going to be watching. And I just want to be respectful of that, and that we should all end up leaving with the same amount of respect, if not more, than we came into the conversation that we began with. I definitely just don't want to end up in something like what Andrew Wilson's been doing, or Gary Melton, turns into a shouting match and ad hominem attacks. So I don't think that's productive at all. Jessica Cat, thank you so much for the thumbs up, heart, thumbs up sandwich. And Delaney, thank you so much for the floating heart. Also, you guys, thank you so much for all the birthday wishes yesterday, and for the super chats yesterday, and I mean always, and for today. But I really understand a lot of people showed up yesterday for my birthday and was there to support me, and I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. All right, I need to take that one off of there. Oh, no, we got more coming in still. If you guys have any questions for me, you can go ahead and throw that in. Thank you so much, Loving My Jesus. That's a good handle. I like that. And yeah, I think I covered everything. All right, you guys, I want to make sure that no one else is getting something in right before we go. Did I get this one? Loving My Jesus. Oh, no, I didn't. I did that one. All right. I think that'll do it, you guys. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. God bless you guys. I'll see you guys here Saturday it's either going to be 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. on Saturday. All right. All right, you guys, have a great night. Yeah, 8585 is almost cooler than a golden birthday. It's always been easy to remember, that's for sure. Yeah, I can definitely use the prayers for safe travels. Flying anytime these days is a little sketchy with everything that goes on, So, but yeah, love you guys. God bless you guys. I'll see you guys Saturday. Have a good night.